It's been a long 47 years since the Cleveland Indians defeated the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park for the AL pennant and eventually won the World Championship. But Indians manager Mike Hargrove knows that the Indians must again go through Boston on their quest. They are the best hitting team in baseball, and Albert Bell has continued his power surge in the postseason. They also have a flair for the dramatic. In addition, their pitching has been superb, and they have shut down the heart of the Red Sox lineup. Mo Vaughn and Jose Canseco are a combined 0 for 20 with no end in sight. However, Boston won't knuckle under if Tim Wakefield has his best stuff. He's been in the postseason before, while with the Pirates down 2-0 to the Braves in 1992, and he came up with a win at home. The Indians know history all too well and would like to make their own tonight. Shifts to storied Fenway Park. Tonight in Boston, it is Game 3 of the American League Division Series. The Cleveland Indians 2-0 and the Boston Red Sox 1 loss away from a long New England winter. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Zabriskie along with Tommy Hutton, and we welcome you to Fenway Park for tonight's big Game 3. The Red Sox with their backs against the wall against a great baseball team. With 100 wins during the regular season, Cleveland showing everybody, Tommy, how good they really are.
Cleveland Indians are a great ball club. I'll tell you what they've done. #1 in the league in stolen bases. They have speed. They have pitching. They had the best earned run average in the American League. They hit the most home runs, and they scored the most runs. Cleveland can hurt you in many different ways. If that's not enough, 27 times they won ball games in their final at bat.
Well, tonight they're going to be going up against a guy that may give them a little trouble, Tim Wakefield and his knuckleball, and they need a good outing from him tonight.
Boston Red Sox got a great boost on May 27th when they called up Tim Wakefield from Pawtucket. He won 3 games in an 8-day period, and that really got the Red Sox on the move. However, in his last 4 starts, he's lost all 4 ball games. He has to have it floating tonight. They need to get about 6 or 7 innings. They don't have Rick Aguilera ready.
Well, another thing that the Red Sox need, other than a good outing from Wakefield, they need some hitting. The middle of their lineup has been talked about a lot, Tommy, but it's really more than that.
All of New England, Steve, knows that Jose Canseco and Mo Vaughn have gone 0 for 20. But believe me, it's a lot more than that. The top 4 hitters are just 2 for 37. What Kevin Kennedy has done in the ball game tonight, he sacrificed a little defense. He has Reggie Jefferson in there, left-handed hitter who's hit over 400 at Fenway Park. He's the DH. Believe it or not, Jose Canseco is playing right field.
And Jefferson's also done a good job against Cleveland pitching. Here are the starters tonight. The 90-mile-an-hour fastball of Charles Nagy will complement Wakefield. Now let's go to John Saunders.
And welcome once again, everyone, to the division series here on ABC. It could be a night of clinchings, could be a night of sweeps. Each series up 2 games to nothing, including the New York Yankees, in part because of Jim Aleyritz, who had this game-winning shot in the 15th inning to put the Yankees up 2-0 in their series. With the battle will turn to Randy Johnson with the season in the balance once again. The Mariners 27-3 when Johnson starts. Over in the National League, down 2 games to nothing, the Dodgers. The National League in strikeouts was #2 in ERA, but Cincinnati has been red hot, including Hal Morris, who's hitting .571. In Atlanta, John Smoltz looks to go 6-0 lifetime against the Rockies. He's 5-1 lifetime postseason. Well, Dante Bichette tries to break his 0 for 13 streak against Smoltz, but he is hitting .625 in the series. We, of course, will be here all night long with scores and highlights. Your game is coming up after this ABC News Brief and a word from our ABC stations.
And it looks pretty much the same as the first 2 games of this series. Kenny Lofton in center field leads it off. Shortstop Omar Vizquel bats second. Carlos Baerga will be second base batting third. Albert Bell in left field hitting cleanup. The DH, as usual, is Eddie Murray hitting fifth. Third baseman Jim Thome hits sixth. Batting seventh, the right fielder Manny Ramirez. Paul Sorrento at first base tonight hitting eighth. And Sandy Alomar will do the catching and hit ninth. They will, of course, be facing the knuckleball of Tim Wakefield.
Well, that's right, Steve. The tough task for the Cleveland Indians is facing that floater. Wakefield calls it a touch pitch. Anybody that throws a knuckleball has to have a good feel. It's nice and brisk here tonight in Boston. Breeze is blowing in. He'd prefer it to be blowing in the other direction because then he gets more float on the knuckleball. So we'll see how it's floating. First couple of innings, very important.
Knuckleball pitcher would be the only one who would want the wind to be blowing out rather than in. And he gets a strike to Kenny Lofton. Lofton 1 for 8 in the series. Hit .310 during the regular season. And he pops the floater up on the left side. Valentin and Naring both there, but it's in the seats, and the wind really pushed that ball out of play. It was in play, and the wind just gave it a ride.
It'll be a battle for the defense tonight. Let's check it out and see what Kevin Kennedy has out there for his Red Sox on the defense. And we're going to highlight Jose Canseco. He's only played one game there this year. Late in the season, he had one fly ball. The report is he handled it very well.
This ball fouled off as well, so still a 2-strike count to Lofton leading off the first. The flag in center field blowing almost straight in toward home plate and briskly. Lofton hits it on a line to right. Jose will be tested right off the bat, and he makes the catch.
I'll tell you what, sometimes it takes something very minor to get a ball club going. Believe it or not, by Jose Canseco, making a play such as this off Kenny Lofton might get the Red Sox on track. Lofton launches it. Canseco playing medium right field has to go back. This is not an easy play for a guy who's there every day, let alone someone who's only out there for the second time this year.
Omar Vizquel, the hitter. 1 for 7 in the series. He does have 2 RBIs that hit a double that drove in a couple. Jose's still chuckling. The knuckleball is high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, Canseco didn't know he was going to play right field until he came into the ballpark today. Kevin Kennedy decided on the move last night.
That one's way outside. I think, you know, Kevin Kennedy in a pregame news conference was asked, how did Jose take it? He said he took it very well. He said he's been working out there. He wants to do whatever Kevin feels is going to help the team win. He's ready to go. Well, he was ready on the first hitter. This one sliced to left. Greenwell headed near the line, has it. 2 out in the first.
We saw the breeze. We saw the flag blowing in. Any outfielder is going to have to stay with every fly ball because they're going to start to drift in. You saw Greenwell stay with that one as it drifted over toward the line. Have to be alive in the outfield with a breeze like that.
It's a damp night. There's been a bit of a mist. It's been overcast all day. Here's Carlos Baerga, 2 for 9. No RBIs in this series. Hit .314 during the regular season and drove in 90. And the floater's right in there for strike 1.
That might have been something other than the knuckleball. Every once in a while, he'll throw a little cutter. He'll throw a curve ball occasionally.
First pitch is a good time to do it, too. 1-1. The other thing that would bother me as a hitter against Wakefield is that hesitation in his delivery. When his foot hits the ground, he almost comes to a stop. Outside again, 2-1.
Well, it's a completely different look, obviously, for the Cleveland Indians, having seen Clemens in the first game, Eric Hansen in the second game, and Mike Hargrove even saw some knuckleballs in his playing day. He said there really isn't a patent way to approach a knuckleball pitcher.
There's a pass ball that got Baerga for strike 2.
Every once in a while you can nap a little bit and you lay back to hit the knuckleball. You want to keep your weight back and stay there, and all of a sudden he pops a fastball in for a strike.
2-2. And on the ground at first, Mo Vaughn with a backhanded play takes it himself, and the inning is over. The Indians go in order in the first. No score after the first half inning, in part because Jose Canseco rose to the occasion. There he is with Tim Wakefield and Mike McFarland in the dugout. Well, here's the Budweiser Red Sox starting lineup for tonight. Dwayne Hosey, the rookie in center field, leads off. John Valentin at short batting second. Big Mo Vaughn, the first baseman, hits third, and Jose Canseco, the right fielder tonight, hitting fourth. Mike Greenwell in left will bat fifth. The DH tonight, Reggie Jefferson, strong here and strong against Cleveland, batting sixth. Tim Naring, the third baseman, bats seventh. Hitting eighth, the second baseman, Luis Alicea, and batting ninth, catcher Mike McFarland. They'll be facing Charles Nagy, who has a 16-6 year.
Well, quietly, Charles Nagy has put together a solid season. All the talk about Oral Hershiser and Dennis Martinez, but the former #1 pick in 1988, good 90-mile-an-hour fastball, can sink it, has a slurve, throws a changeup. This is really a guy they're happy that he's out there in this ball game.
Dwayne Hosey 0 for 9 in the series, takes a strike. Fastball fouled off the other way. 0-2.
A check on Mike Hargrove's defense in this ball game behind Charles Nagy. Omar Vizquel has won a couple of Gold Gloves, and he has really been a sparkle for the Cleveland Indians this year. So much is said of Eddie Murray and Albert Bell and the power guys, but Vizquel has been solid.
Hosey has to dance out of the way, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
A lot of question as to who might lead off tonight for the Boston Red Sox. Would it be Hosey again, or perhaps Lee Tinsley, maybe even the veteran Willie McGee?
And a good downer gets Hosey for the first out of the inning.
The shortstop,
This 1995 Divisional Series game is brought to you by Chevrolet. The cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. McDonald's, have you had your break today? And Beechwood Aged Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. 1 out, nobody on for John Valentin. The Red Sox shortstop 2 for 8 in the series. A homer and 2 RBIs, and this one popped up in foul territory. Sandy Alomar fighting the wind. Nope, couldn't hold on. That ball just kept going back into the screen.
You bet. There was a perfect example of what the wind did to that pop foul. It started off, it looked like it would be an easy play for Sandy Alomar. It just kept drifting back and finally out of play. He first flips the mask off. He thinks he has a shot, makes a great effort, and just isn't able to grab onto it. Wind is about 15 to 20 miles an hour.
Game time temperature in the mid-50s, and as we mentioned, it's a bit damp. 1 strike to count to Valentin. Valentin against Nagy this year was 1 for 7. 1-1.
I'll tell you another reason why the Indians are happy to have Charles Nagy out there. The Indians scored an average of 6.8 runs in his starts, almost 7 runs a game when Charles Nagy took the mound.
Strike, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
And I think the thing that's amazing about that is that that's the most run support for a starting pitcher since back in 1955. The Brooklyn Dodgers scored a little over 7 a game for Don Newcomb.
And the only one happier than the Cleveland Indians was Charles Nagy. Two and 2 now.
Well, he's made a real nice comeback. He had shoulder surgery in '93 after having a tremendous '92 season, and he's back at full form.
Rockies have jumped out on top of the Braves in Atlanta with a run in the first. Wild pitch, scoring Eric Young. Fastball grounded foul outside third. Still 2 and 2 to John Valentin. 1 out and nobody on in the bottom of the first.
Well, anytime you get over 100 RBIs out of a shortstop, you're getting a lot of things happening from that position. You don't expect it.
Nope. And those 37 doubles. A little bit low and a full count. But as you pointed out, Tommy, in the opening, Valentin and Hosey, the top 2 hitters, they've got to pick up the pace just like Vaughn and Canseco for the Red Sox to get something going. That's grounded foul again.
No, we talked about that 2 for 37 from the first 4 hitters. Those 2 came from John Valentin. You know, I think, too, that playing Canseco in right field might help his offense, because all of a sudden now he's going to not be thinking so much about his hitting. He's going to be worried about making catches in right field.
That's a good point. The breaking ball is low, ball 4. And Valentin on with 1 out. Well, we were kind of wondering what kind of reception Big Mo would get. And they are standing and cheering. Even though Mo is 0 for 10. He takes down low, ball 1. This year against Nagy, Vaughn was 3 for 8. So he hit him pretty well.
Now, one of the most popular players ever to wear a Boston Red Sox uniform. And they're not down. And I'll tell you what, Nagy's a good low ball pitcher. That's pitching right where Mo Vaughn likes to see him.
Up and away. Ball 2.
Really concentrating, Mo is, to keep that front side in a little bit. I watched him take batting practice, and he was scorching some balls off the green monster, and then every once in a while would turn on one and hit it into the right center field area. So he worked on it in batting practice, and in BP he looked great. Of course, it's always a different story once you step in there in a game.
1 out, 1 on. Liner to third. Don Tomey has it, 2 out. Let's check in with John Saunders.
What a great start here. Mike Kingery with a perfect bunt, or at least it looks that way, until John Smoltz comes up with a terrific play to get the out at first. Problem is, the guy who was on first, Young, winds up on third. So with Larry Walker at the plate, the wild pitch. In comes Young. The throw in time. The tag in time. But the ball pops free and Young scores, so the Rockies take a 1-0 lead in the first. Steve and Tommy.
Boy, unusual things happening already.
Early excitement.
Playoff baseball. Well, here's Jose. Also 0 for 10. He, unlike Vaughn, has struggled against Charles Nagy. 2 for 26. Strike. Jose hit only 129 against Cleveland pitching this year. One and 1.
Of course, with Jose Canseco up there, the Cleveland infield puts their shift on. Carlos Baerga, the second baseman, even to the left side of the bag. So there's a giant opening on that right side with the first baseman, Paul Sorrento, holding the runner.
And Valentin will draw a throw. 2 out. No score. We're in the bottom of the first inning. Valentin at first and a 1-1 count on Canseco. Tied again, 2-1.
Canseco had to make a few changes when he came to Fenway Park. He said early in the year he was tired of hitting singles off the wall. He needed to get a little more lift on the ball and get it over the green monster, and that can happen. You can hit a ball that'll be off the monster that might be out somewhere else.
That's true. The breaking ball high, and it's 3-1. On deck, Mike Greenwell. Ball 4. 2 walks in the inning. Valentin down to second. Canseco at first with 2 away.
One of the things that helped Charles Nagy, he had a period during the year where he wasn't throwing the ball well, but he finished strong. He was 6-1 in his last 8 starts because he got a little more aggressive out there. He was using his fastball and change and curve, but just trying to get ahead. He had a nice meeting with Mike Hargrove, and they talked about things.
Mike Greenwell, as you see, has done well in the series, 3 for 10 so far. He has not driven in a run, however. That one off Nagy's leg, knocked down by Vizquel, and they get the force on Canseco. Still no score after 1.
No score as we head to the second, but watch this play. This ball is headed to center field. A little bit of a kick save by Charles Nagy right to his shortstop. An alert Omar Vizquel with a nice feed to Baerga. Good play by the Indians. Greenwell doesn't think so.
Had it not been for Nagy's leg, might have been a base hit and an RBI. Here's Albert Bell to lead off the second for Cleveland, and he takes a strike. He has been the man. 3 for 7, a homer, 3 RBIs. Of course, 50 during the regular season, and he drove in 126. 1-1.
You talk about a guy who has been in an absolute zone. Albert Bell, over the last 2 months, had 17 home runs in September, had 31 in the last 2 months of the season.
And the groove has continued. You see the Yankees and Mariners no score. There's the other half of the knuckleball story, and that's Mike McFarland. It's not easy back there when that ball's dancing. Well, that's 3-1 now to Mr. Bell. Let's see if Mr. Wakefield gives in to him.
No, he'll go with the floater. He's not going to give in to Albert Bell.
And he caught the corner. 3-2.
Good patience by Albert Bell. 3-1, you're looking for something that you can drive. And you don't talk about a knuckleball pitcher painting the corners, but Wakefield did on that one.
Albert Bell hits it high and deep, but pulls it well foul down the left field line, and it's up and over the roof.
The only thing Albert's a little upset with is that his favorite bat was sawed in half the other day. That was a bat he hit his 50th home run with.
Yeah, and Bobby Brown, who was responsible for making that decision, said if he'd have known that it was a home run he hit the 50th with, he might not have had it sawn in half. Albert says he's going to glue it back together, though, and mount it. McFarland can't get it. He and Naring were both there. And again, the wind. And I think Wakefield might not have taken charge of that situation.
Well, I think he did, and I think he actually made the wrong call. Watch Wakefield. He starts to hold off. He doesn't really make a call. Looked like he was going to hold off Tim Naring. Keep in mind, Naring is playing as far back as you can at third base with Albert Bell, the hitter. That ball is really Mike McFarland's to catch.
And because of that, they have charged McFarland with an error. And Albert Bell will get another cut and fouls it back.
Well, I tell you what, you hate to do that with an Albert Bell and give him another chance. That's some of the things the Red Sox have made, some small little mistakes in the first 2 games of the series. Kevin Kennedy has admitted that.
Another 3-2 pitch. And another foul ball. When Naring came in, it looked like he was ready to take charge, and Wakefield sort of held him up, and that, I think, is what caused McFarland to be a little tentative.
Yeah, he may have held him up with the hand, but maybe not verbally, and McFarland might not have seen that.
That's true. This one way high and deep and foul again. Just missed knocking one of the lights out. Gee whiz. That thing went 450 feet the wrong way. This is the 11th pitch of this at bat, and it's strike 3 call.
Talk about some perfect pitches by Tim Wakefield. Remember the 3-1 knuckleball that was on the outside corner. Then Albert Bell fouled a few off. Now he floats one that catches the inside corner and gets a good grab from McFarland.
Quite an at-bat for both the hitter and the pitcher. Eddie Murray stands in, just keeps on rocking on. 3 for 10 in this series, a homer and 3 driven in, a .323 season, 21 homers and 82 RBIs. And you go down the Cleveland lineup, everybody hits 300, everybody hits 25 to 30 home runs, everybody hits 70 to 100 RBIs.
7 of the 9 guys in the lineup, 300 hitters.
Ball 2 to Murray. 1 out, nobody on. We're in the 2nd inning. No score.
You know what? You think about the 2 that didn't hit 300. Omar Vizquel has gotten many big hits for the Indians this year. And Paul Sorrento's average was down. He missed some time on the DL with a pull hamstring, but has 25 home runs.
And nearly drove in 80. 3-0 now. See what he does with Murray.
I think with guys like Murray and Albert Bell, you just have the automatic green light. They're smart enough. They know when to swing and when not to.
That fastball was high, and Murray is aboard. First walk issued by Wakefield. And in the 2nd inning now in Seattle, no score. Rockies still leading Atlanta by a run. And they have yet to score at Riverfront. 1 out and 1 on for Jim Thome, who is 1 for 10 in this series with 6 strikeouts. He has not driven in a run, but he too had a fine season, hitting .314. That knuckleball is high. Thome hit 25 home runs and drove in 73.
I tell you, so much has been said about the struggles of the Red Sox offensively, hitting .174 as a club. Hey, the Indians are hitting a .188. They're not tearing the cover off the ball either.
Well, the pitching has been pretty good on both sides.
That's exactly what Mike Hargrove and Kevin Kennedy said. And everybody talks about the lack of offense. How about the way these pitchers have been hitting spots and making pitches when they need to?
More has been made of the Red Sox because they're the team that's down by losing the first 2 games. Foul on a check swing. So it's 2-1. There's El Presidente. Dennis Martinez pitched the first game and Oral Hershiser the second.
Well, you talk about some veteran pitchers.
Look at who Boston had.
Yeah.
Clemens pitched strong. He went out there like a bulldog.
So did Eric Hansen.
And Eric Hansen had that breaking ball working beautifully in game 2.
So if this series was tied up 1-1 instead of Cleveland leading 2-0, we'd be talking just about what a great pitch series it is.
Probably right. Way high and deep. Pulled down the right field line. Hooking. Fair ball and a home run for Jim Thome. Cleveland is quickly up 2-0.
One of the problems always with a knuckleball, if it hangs up there, it's a great pitch for a hitter to hit. Down the right field line at Fenway Park, you can really sneak one in. It's not very deep, right as the line is fair. And Jim Thome was able to sneak it right over the foul pole and get it into fair territory. And that's not what the Red Sox wanted, to get down early. And that's exactly what Cleveland wanted to do.
Exactly, and they have done it. Thome, who was 1 for 10 and with the big 2-run home run, and Manny Ramirez now, who is 0 for 10, is the hitter. And a knuckleball catches the inside corner, a ball and a strike. Ramirez hit .308 during the season, hit 31 home runs. Hargrove congratulating Thome as the knuckleball hits Ramirez in the backside.
Tremendous amount of confidence in the Cleveland clubhouse, walking around and talking with different players. And you know, you watch Wakefield struggle here in this 2nd inning, and his catcher Mike McFarland said that what you have to do is you have to watch him for a couple of innings and try to define what he's going to do, where the ball's going to move and how it's going to move. McFarland said, then I have to figure out how to catch it. But the one to Jim Thome didn't move a lot.
There's a hanger. Paul Sorrento, 1 for 6 in the series. Still only 1 out. 2 runs in on Thome's dinger, and a runner at first in Ramirez. Ball 2, and now McFarland's going to have a chat.
Another thing that you'll see the Cleveland Indians do, most clubs try to against Tim Wakefield, try to exploit the knuckleball when they get base runners. Ramirez had 6 stolen bases on the year. But if they get guys like Lofton and Vizquel on the bases with Wakefield still in there, look for them to run.
More pressure, too, on Wakefield and the others because Rick Aguilera is not available for Boston. This ball popped up behind second. Luis Alicea calling. Squeezing, and there are 2 gone. Ramirez remaining at first.
Of course, Steve, it's the type of ball game that certainly no tomorrow for Boston, so they'll pitch anybody. Kevin Kennedy said if he has to go to the bullpen early, he probably would bring in right-hander Mike Maddox.
Early meaning the first 3 or 4 innings of the game. Sandy Alomar, the hitter, 9th hitter in the lineup, 1 for 6 in the series. Hit an even 300 on the year. And fouls the first pitch off for strike 1.
Yeah, Sandy did that going 4 for 5 the last day of the season.
Grounded to third. Naring will go to Alicea for the force, and the inning is over. But Jim Thome's 2-run home run, and Cleveland out in front early.
Well, the Indians have taken an early 2-0 lead thanks to the booming blast of Jim Thome, the third baseman. Hit 25 on the year. This one, he's just trying to give it a little Carlton Fisk and keep it fair down that right field line. It had distance. I don't care what ballpark that you're playing in. That ball is a home run. You can see how we've given you a good description of where that ball landed. It was a fair ball, no question.
They had about 10 or 12 rows back. Well, here's Reggie Jefferson making his first appearance in the playoff series. He's the designated hitter tonight, and as Kevin Kennedy said, he wanted to get Reggie's bat in there for a couple of reasons. One, they need some hitting, and secondly, he's done very well against Cleveland and also here at Fenway, but he hits a sharp ground ball that Vizquel throws him out on for out number 1.
Well, you can see why, too. That's exactly where he likes to take the ball. And any left-hander who hits the ball well from center field over to left field is going to have success at Fenway Park. And I guess the one that comes to mind that did it so great when he played here, Freddie Lynn. Hit balls in the left center, pepper that green monster.
Yeah, he could hit the ball away with any. Tim Naring, 2 for 9. With a home run, a solo shot, and a strike. 1 out, nobody on. We're in the bottom half of inning number 2, and a 2-0 Cleveland lead. High and away, 1-1.
With the Indians striking first, one of the things the Red Sox have to do right here is try to get something going and possibly even score. If Charles Nagy goes out there and has a nice 1-2-3 inning, momentum stays on Cleveland's side.
There's Nagy's slurve. Not a real sharp breaking ball, but sort of a half slider, half curve that's in there. 1 and 2. A drive into right center field. Lofton on the run. Gets there. Kenny Lofton ran that ball down by outrunning it.
Well, let's see. We talked at the top of the show about power, talked about speed, we talked about offense. Let's throw in a little defense. Gold Glover in center field, 1 at shortstop, and Kenny Lofton can chase him down. This ball looked like it was going into the right center field gap, and quickly Lofton was there to fill it up.
He even pulled up about a half a step from the ball. He just outran it. Luis Alicea, 4 for 6 with a home run in this series. He and Valentin about the only guys for Boston that have been consistent. Greenwell has 3 hits. But Alicea batting with 2 out, nobody on.
Mental aspect now the game comes into play. Mo Vaughn lined out. Naring hit a line drive for an out.
Broken bat roller to second. Easy play for Baerga, and it is a 1-2-3 inning for Charles Nagy. 2-0. 2-0 Indians over the Red Sox as we go to the third inning. And a reminder, tomorrow night here on ABC Sports, postseason division series action will continue. We don't know what series are going to be continuing with everybody up 2-0 going in. But Major League Divisional Playoffs will be on an hour earlier tomorrow, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Be here for more baseball tomorrow right here on ABC Sports. Charles got him out in order in the bottom half of the second. And as you mentioned, Tommy, that could be a psychological advantage after Cleveland had gone up 2-0 in the top of the inning. And it's the top of the order. And Kenny Lofton, who looks at ball one.
Yeah, and that first pitch was a ball. And just to illustrate how important it is for Wakefield to throw a strike on first pitch.
This ball hit high in the air to right field. Canseco drifting in and over near the line. And Jose's 2 for 2 to the cheers of the crowd.
When Wakefield throws a strike on the first pitch, the Cleveland hitters are 0 for 5. When he throws a ball, now he just retired Lofton after throwing a ball, but prior to that, when he throws a ball, he's issued a walk, a home run, and a hit batter.
Strike one, the most important pitch in baseball.
Saw a little stagger there on Jose, but he made the catch all right.
You got to remember the wind is still whipping around out there, and even guys who play out there every day are going to have to battle it.
And he couldn't practice yesterday because the teams hit a little bit inside, but the field was covered. It rained most of the day yesterday here in Boston.
Bunting, Vizquel slaps it foul, so it's a ball and a strike to Omar.
Guys like Omar Vizquel will probably see fewer knuckleballs than the big power guys. If Wakefield is struggling throwing it for a strike, he knows he can get by with throwing something else to a Vizquel who tries to bunt. It's not an easy pitch to bunt either.
No. Tough to get on top of that thing. Check swing. Did he get a piece of it? He did. It's 1 and 2.
The reason I say that,
yeah,
the reason I say that about a hitter such as Vizquel, I can remember myself facing Phil Niekro. He wasn't worried about me hitting one out and hurting him. So if he got behind, he'd throw a little sinking fastball and take his chances.
Were you looking for that stuff?
Sure. If he missed with a couple of knuckleballs, I knew I'd get something else.
1 and 2 to Vizquel. And the knuckleball foul back. 1 out, nobody on. We're in the top of the third. Vizquel had 56 RBIs during the year, and the way he plays shortstop, that's a big bonus. Did he go too far? Yes, punched out of there by Jim McKean, who did not need to appeal. Larry McCoy is at first, Rich Garcia at second, Jim Joyce at third, and then we have a couple of guys down the line.
Yeah, he went too far, and I had a talk with Jim McKean, veteran home plate umpire. It's the first time he's had Wakefield this year, but he has had knuckleball pitchers in the past, and he said you have to wait a little bit longer as an umpire. You don't want to call the pitch too soon.
That's a good point. Called that one quickly. A strike to Carlos Baerga. Mike Riley's the umpire down the left field line, and Dale Scott the umpire down the right field line, as 6 are working the postseason. Baerga waits nicely and serves it into center field for a base hit. Only the second hit Wakefield has allowed, but the first was Tomey's 2-run home run.
And if you think about the 2 hits, the home run and Carlos's single right here, look where the pitch is. Right out over the plate, a hanger, and not a lot of movement on it. Watch Wakefield when this ball comes right back over his head. He just makes sure he gets out of the way because he knows Baerga hit it hard.
So Baerga at first with 2 out for Albert Bell, who was struck out looking to open the second inning. And what an at-bat it was. Albert battled, hit 2 over the roof foul down the left field line. And Wakefield made some good pitches. Strike 1.
What a crazy career and roller coaster career Tim Wakefield has had. He's only 29 years old.
Ripped down the left field line foul.
Tell you, Albert's starting to chip some paint here at Fenway Park.
The carom of that ball was as far as some guys get a base hit.
This ball is smoked, and it hits the facing, and then caroms out into left field.
It was clear out into the position by the scoreboard.
It's like one of my tee shots off the clubhouse.
Now yours hook a little more than that did. I'll tell you what, that's when you can tell a ball's hit hard on a line, when it starts hooking like that. It's got some giddy up on it. Rockies now up 3-0 over the Braves. They're in the top of the third there as well. This one ripped again. I'll tell you what, when Albert's hitting, if you're sitting on the left side of the ballpark, you better be watching.
Tell you, he's having great cuts at Tim Wakefield. Wakefield's staying everything inside. Albert's hitting him hard. Wakefield's just saying, well, those are just long, hard strikes. I'm ahead in the count.
Still no balls and 2 strikes. 2 out by Erga at first. This one may be fair. Down the line, nope, foul.
Well, I think Mike Greenwell ought to just stay there in the left field corner. Don't go any further. Again, a ball hit well. Maybe not quite. It might have been a little bit on the end of the bat. Thought it had more distance when it first left.
That's as close as he's come, though, to putting one in play.
Actually, Greenwell may go up into that section right there.
That's the way to play him. Well, Greenwell has moved over to the line during this at bat. There's no question.
In his last 2 at bats now, Albert Bell has hit 9 foul balls, and most of them hard.
Yankees are broken on top of the Mariners. In the 4th, they lead 1-0.
Well, I got one off the big unit.
Grounded foul.
The thing about Wakefield, though, Steve, he's certainly no stranger to postseason. Had that great run in '92, those 2 complete games against the Atlanta Braves when he was pitching with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and in that series, when he took the mound, the Pirates were down, like the Red Sox are here. And he comes in with something other.
Yeah, he finally threw him a fastball.
But he missed, ball and 2 strikes.
But that's where he wanted to miss. He's telling himself on an 0-2 pitch, if I miss with this fastball, I don't want to leave it out over the plate. If I miss, I want to miss off the plate inside.
Wants to give Albert something else to think about. And back to the dancer that's low and away. Now it's 2-2.
And that's exactly right. You show him a fastball. As a hitter, you just see another speed. He doesn't want to throw him a strike with that pitch. Now he come back with a knuckleball, which he did. He missed with that.
A little bit high. About 35,000 thought he had him with that, but it was a little bit high, and it's a full count.
Good reactions by Albert to not swing at the pitch and stay away from it.
Well, that's indicative of a hitter that's going well when you have that patience at the plate. The runner goes by Erga on 3-2 with 2 out, and Bell fouls it back. So we'll do it again.
Well, this is one of those matchups. You know, you talk about the classic matchup with the Nolan Ryan type pitcher, the Roger Clemens, the hard thrower going against the power hitter. This is every bit as exciting because you have the power and then you have the finesse of the knuckleballer.
And who needs BP? Bell's already seen 20 pitches in these 2 at bats. 3-2 again.
21.
By Erga going. And that's a 3rd ball and 2 at bats he's put in the dugout. He's got him limping over there already. Who, Tommy, do you think has the advantage as this goes on in an at-bat?
Well, against a normal pitcher, you'd say the hitter because he's seen everything he throws. But all of a sudden, if Tim Wakefield throws a great knuckleball right here, he doesn't have a chance.
In the dirt, ball 4. Let's check in with John Saunders again. John.
Steve, Yankees and the Mariners, Randy Johnson and Jack McDowell in a great scoreless pitchers duel, but Bernie Williams to the opposite field. He has been on fire since about August, and this home run gives the Yankees a 1-0 lead over Randy Johnson. That's where it stands in the 4th. Meantime, the Rockies and the Braves. Eric Young at the plate. The pitch is up. It's a breaking ball. He takes it to left field. But watch Ryan Klesko back to the warning track. Up. Does he have it? No, he does not. It's gone for a 2-run home run and a 3-0 Rockies lead in the 3rd inning. Back to Steve and Tommy.
Thank you, John. I'll tell you what, 3 runs against those Atlanta Braves and a run off the big unit in Seattle. The visiting teams are doing well so far.
Well, what a travel schedule the Mariners have had the last 4 or 5 days.
What was it, 6,400 miles in 4 days? I wonder who got the Frankwood Flyer miles on that deal. Eddie Murray walked in the 2nd inning and was aboard when Jim Thome hit one out to right field to give Cleveland their 2-0 lead.
Thome got that nice hanger. You know, people ask if you can take BP off of a guy throwing knuckleballs, if it'll help, and you really can't practice to hit a knuckleball. You can't have a guy out there throwing knuckleballs during batting practice. You can just go out there, try to get your timing. You want to stay back. But as I said before, many hitters have different theories. Some say swing at everything. Some say get him early in the count. Some say make him pitch.
Some guys move up in the box. Other guys move back in the box.
Exactly.
Well, this is a big at bat right here for Wakefield, as well as for the Indians. They could break this game open. 2 out, already up by 2 runs with 2 on, and Eddie Murray the hitter. Now it's a ball and 2 strikes to Murray. Whether or not Wakefield goes longer in this game may be determined right here. Outside, 2-2.
Eddie joined that 3,000 hit club this year. And he's put it all. I mean, he's got just a singles hitter. The RBIs, home runs.
He's amazing from both sides of the plate. That's off the glove of McFarland, and the runners will advance. Another one of the dangers of the knuckleball.
Years ago, before Charlie Huff really got going with the Texas Rangers, he came up with the Dodgers and was in the bullpen. But because of the knuckleball dancing and wild pitches or pass balls, Walter Alston was the manager then. He was afraid to bring him in situations with men on base.
And you know why? I mean, it doesn't surprise you. Even with the oversized glove, it is so difficult. It's 3-2 now to Murray. And the bases are loaded, and Wakefield just missed. He has walked 2 here in this inning. And a total of 3 now.
See that ball dance, and you also see the concentration of Mike McFarland back there. It's a battle for a catcher.
So now the bases are loaded with 2 out for Jim Thome. And Kevin Kennedy has seen enough of this.
65 pitches already, Steve.
And that way out of the strike zone for ball 1. Thome picked up his first RBIs of the series, and now there's going to be a little conference at the mound.
One little bonus for the Red Sox: when Al Nipper took over as pitching coach, one of the reasons he took over, he's a good friend, a close friend with Roger Clemens, and they work well together. But Nipper, middle part of his career toward the end, also threw a knuckleball. So he's been able to help. His great comment, I was talking to him in the dugout today, and he said, you get the feel, it's really a fingertip ball, not a knuckleball. You almost have to put your fingertips on it the way you would on an egg.
That's a neat comment.
And just flip it up there. You don't want to pinch too hard. Yeah.
Mike Maddox, you see in the bullpen, starting to loosen now. As Kevin Kennedy said, if he got in trouble in the first few innings, Maddox would be the man, and he is heating up now. The count is 2 balls and no strikes to Thome. Who, as I mentioned, got his first RBIs of this playoff series with the home run in the 2nd inning. Fouled off at the plate, and it's 2-1.
Well, we talked about Wakefield, the start that he got when he joined the Red Sox. He was 14-1. However, after that 14-1 start, he's gone 2-7. So he has struggled.
Bases loaded. Right in there. 2-2.
See, Tomey thought that pitch was going to drop and go out of the strike zone. You saw how McFarland caught it. The ball stayed right up and actually went up a little bit.
Big pitch right here, as he does not want to go 3-2, but he does. So now a full count with 2 out and the bases loaded. All the runners will be in motion.
That's another thing to think about, especially with bases loaded. Bell's at second. 3-2. He's going to take off. If it's a wild pitch or pass ball, he could possibly score all the way from second.
The runners go, and it's ball 4, and Baerga will score from third as Wakefield has walked in the third Cleveland run.
You know, Kevin Kennedy felt very comfortable with Wakefield going out there. There's a lot of speculation because he had some troubles toward the end of the year, but he said, hey, if not for Tim Wakefield and doing what he did, we would not be here. Watch this thing float up there, and then it takes an immediate right turn.
So Bell moves to third, Murray to second. Tomey with his third RBI is at first, and the hitter Manny Ramirez skies one in foul territory outside the third base line. Narrowing, and the inning is over. But a run scores on a base hit and 3 walks here in the third. 3-0 Indians. Fenway, Steve Zabriskie and Tommy Hutton with you. Glad you're with us. Cleveland leading 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the third inning. And it'll be the bottom of the order. Mike McFarland, the 9th place hitter, to lead off for Boston. McFarland battling that knuckler is 2 for 6 in this series. Fouls it off for strike 1.
Think about that, too. He's back there for 3 innings battling to catch the knuckleball, keeping his concentration. Now he has to go up there and try to hit Charles Nagy, who's throwing the ball extremely well.
And the crowd is roaring because we have a fan, I will use the term loosely, an idiot of a fan, running the bases and sliding into second. We're not going to show him, but the security people will be removing him.
Tell you what, though, it gives us a little opportunity to talk about Charles Nagy and to look at some other scores. You mentioned the Yankees getting on top, that game moving along with Randy Johnson pitching and Jack McDowell going for the Yankees. That's a bonus for New York. And the Rockies, they need to win. They're trying to beat a guy they haven't beaten, John Smoltz. The Dodgers and Reds, all of Japan watching that game, Hideo Nomo.
And some of those Japanese fans even made the trip to Cincinnati. They had gone to Los Angeles for the series and wanted to see Hideo Nomo pitch, so they had to go on to the Queen City. All right, order has been restored. It's strike 1 to McFarland. And now 1-1. Boy, he got in on him that time. A ball and 2 strikes.
That's what Nagy can do with the good live fastball. He throws the ball, it moves. Look at that ball move, and that's a fastball. Then he can throw the slurve and a changeup once in a while.
And in classic fashion,
boy, oh boy,
Alomar sets up outside, and the breaking ball almost off the plate following the high, tight, hard one.
You get the hard one inside with movement that ties you up. And then he comes back with this big breaking pitch. And there are not many hitters that are going to have a chance with pitches like that.
Why, that's textbook right there. Dwayne Hosey, the rookie center fielder, struck out swinging in the first inning. 1 out, nobody on. And a fastball fouled back for strike 1.
Great little bonus for the Red Sox. Dwayne Hosey, they claimed him off waivers from Kansas City. And he was a real spark plug the last month of the season.
One and 1. The wind is still blowing in almost directly from center field. And will continue to affect any ball hit in the air. Pop up, fly ball, fair or foul. Just a little low. 2-1.
Charles Nagy from Fairfield, Connecticut. Went to University of Connecticut, so he's no stranger here in New England.
Now, he said it means a lot to him to pitch here against the Red Sox, a team he grew up watching and rooting for.
He pitched a lot as a high schooler in Babe Ruth American Legion tournaments against Mo Vaughn. So they've seen each other for a while.
2-2. Boy, there was a wicked breaking ball there. Did Hosey go too far? Apparently not. 3-2 now.
That's what he's trying to do on this pitch. Once he gets to 2 strikes, he wants it to be out of the strike zone, and he wants Hosey to chase it.
3-2 pitch, ball 4. First base runner for the Red Sox since the first inning when Canseco walked. And Hosey's at first with 1 out.
What the Red Sox need, not only for themselves, but I think for their fans too, is a little jolt with a quick fix long ball, and that'll get everybody into the ballgame, because it's almost as if, and you and I were talking about it before the game, that the Red Sox fans are here just waiting for disaster.
And there just isn't the electricity that you would expect to feel under the circumstances. But Red Sox fans have been treated rudely over the years. They have been used to more of the negative than the positive. They're here. You got to give them that. And they were cheering loudly when their guys were introduced. But there's just a different feeling, a different kind of anticipation. Valentin hits it high and deep toward the monster. Bell is back there. Off the wall. Here comes Hosey. He's being held at third. It's a double for Valentin, and the Red Sox have runners at second and third with 1 out.
Well, they almost got that quick fix long ball from John Valentin, and it almost appeared that Albert Bell was going to make this play. Fastball up and out over, and Valentin with that good hooking type swing to go after the left field wall. Hooks it out there. Albert is out there with the leap and just wasn't able to get it. Looked like he timed it just right. Right about here with the leap. Had a chance, but a good effort. And all of a sudden the Red Sox fans are back into it.
Just about 6 inches away from his glove. That's the first hit of the night for the Red Sox, and Mo Vaughn, who lined hard to third in the first inning, is in there. Ball 1.
Of course, there was also a time when these two guys matched up together. Talked about in high school that Mo Vaughn went to Seton Hall, University of Connecticut, playing in a Big East tournament game. Mo hit one a mile. They say it might still be going.
Now, to Mo's credit, he talks it down. He doesn't want to make a big deal out of it, but it became a legendary home run. Mo, did you hold up? Yes. The appeal to the third base umpire, Jim Joyce. No swing, and it's ball 2.
Nagy trying to go inside to get him to offer at it. Made a good pitch, but Mo was very patient.
Runners at second and third. That's the pitch that's been getting Mo Vaughn in this series. He likes the ball down and in like a lot of left-handers do, but he hasn't been getting it.
Well, what happened, he didn't get the fastball that he was looking for. 2-0 pitch. How about some respect right there? Charles Nagy threw him a 2-0 perfect changeup.
Now it's 2 balls and 1 strike. We're in the bottom of the third with 1 out and runners at second and third. Thought he might do it again. But now it's 3-1.
Tried to see if he could get him to bite for the same pitch.
Jose Canseco on deck. The Red Sox are still looking for their first hit with runners in scoring position in this series. 3-2.
Boy, you get in a slump, and you know that you're one of the reasons that your club is there, and you start getting tough pitches. And again, Nagy throwing him the off-speed pitch. He just hasn't given Mo Vaughn that good fastball that he's looking for.
First base is open. Let's see what he does on 3-2.
He's either going to go upstairs with a fastball or go right back with a breaking ball.
Dance with who brung you. Right back in there to get Vaughn to strike out, and there are 2 out now.
Well, what a big pitch by Charles Nagy. Actually, 3 good pitches to Mo Vaughn. Again, he stays with the off speed. You could see Mo opening up a little bit because he's fooled right about there. Once that shoulder flies out, the hips go, especially on a changeup that's in that location, you're in trouble.
And Sandy Alomar's reaction was, that's the way to go. That's exactly where he wanted that pitch. So now 2 out for Canseco. And he rips the ball to left field, but Albert Bell is right there. And another atom ball ends it. The Red Sox fail to score again. We'll be back after this from our ABC stations. Cleveland leading 3-0 as we go to the top half of the 4th inning, and Paul Sorrento to lead it off for the Indians. Sorrento popped out to the second baseman Luis Alicea in the second. Wakefield working the dancer, a ball and a strike. The Braves have scored against the Rockies in Atlanta, 3-1 now in the bottom of the 4th inning. Still no score in Cincinnati. And Doolin. A little bit high and tight. 2-1.
That's right, the lefty David Wells pitching for the Reds against Hideo Nomo.
Boy, that had some movement on it. 2-2.
He throws knuckleballs at different speeds too, as the Yankees remain up 1-0 on the Mariners, but a lot of knuckleball pitchers pretty much the same, but he'll throw one about 60 miles an hour. He'll throw one about 50. He'll change speeds on it too.
Got him. A lot better series of knuckleballs than last inning for Wakefield. This 1995 Division Series game is brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and easy drinking Bush Light, Texaco Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil, and Buick and your local dealers. Remember, Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. 1 out and nobody on for Sandy Alomar, who grounded into an inning-ending force play in the second. That strikeout of Sorrento, the 3rd for Wakefield. Alomar, as you see now, 1 for 7 in the series. It's this one high in the air to center field. Hosey in and over toward right in front of Canseco. 2 out, and let's check in again with John Saunders.
Steve, wild happenings in the Dodgers-Reds games. That's Piazza at the plate, who just lines this one out to left field. Now watch Ron Gant chasing it down. Then he can't pick the ball up. So Chad Fonville's coming around to score. The throw comes in. Where's the call? Joe West just looking on. No call because Fonville hasn't touched the plate. Santiago realizes it, applies the tag, and he's out of there. It's now 2-0 on Ron Gant's 2-run home run. Back to Steve and Tommy.
John, Gant couldn't pick up the ball in the outfield. He must have picked up the ball at home plate nicely.
Yeah, he saw that one real nice.
Jeez. There's another guy who's been crushing. Kenny Lofton with a check swing foul, a 2-strike count. With 2 out and nobody on here in the 4th inning, Cleveland leading 3-0. Lofton has hit the ball to right field twice. He tested Canseco to open the ball game with a liner over his head. Hit another one out there, and now he's hit his 3rd one, but this one will probably be handled by Alicea, and the inning is over. Cleveland goes in order in the 4th, but they still lead by 3. Red Sox with only 1 hit. They are looking for some runs as the drought continues. They're down 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. A great shot of a packed Fenway Park. Boy, the history this place has seen, and the Red Sox fans and the Red Sox themselves hope that it is not a continuing negative story. They want to keep this series going, and they're going to have to come back to do it tonight. Mike Greenwell grounded into an inning-ending force play in the first. Greenwell, Jefferson, and Naring here in the fourth inning for Boston. And Nagy breaks off a good one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, certainly patience is the key to a Boston Red Sox fan. Going back to that 6-5 10-inning loss, you don't have to remind New Englanders against the New York Mets. They've lost 12 postseason games in a row.
Well, Greenwell was quoted as saying when he was told that he didn't even realize it. He's, along with Clemens, the only guy that goes back to '86 on this team. He didn't even realize they had lost 12 postseason games in a row. Greenwell hit .327. There's Roger,
who will be, if it goes to Game 4, the starting pitcher for Boston.
and he's scheduled to go tomorrow night if the Red Sox pull it out. Another appeal down to Jim Joyce at third. No. So it's 3-2 to Greenwell. Greenwell hit .327 against Cleveland this year and has hit .323 against the Indians for his career. Hits this one on the ground. Sorrento with the backhand and a flip to Nagy. 1 out in the fourth.
Well, even though they play on the Cleveland Indians, a couple of New Englanders making that play.
He said that very well.
Paul Sorrento and Charles Nagy.
He said that. We got the accent down well.
Sorrento from Peabody, Mass.
Here's Reggie, the DH, grounded to short in the second inning. Fouls this one back for strike 1. That at bat in the second was Reggie Jefferson's first of the series.
You know, I'm thinking about the bold move that Kennedy made in putting Canseco in right field so he could get Jefferson in there and giving up some defense. He made a bold move when he was with Texas in pitching Jose Canseco here at Fenway Park that didn't sit very well with the Texas Rangers fans.
That's right. I had forgotten about that. Everybody pitched that day, I think. There's a base hit to center field by Jefferson. And he smoked it. Let's get another update from John Saunders. John.
Steve, Jack McDowell of the Yankees cruising with a 1-0 lead in the fifth, but there's a runner aboard, and Tino Martinez gets all of this one to dead center field, a 2-run home run, and the Mariners take the lead. That's where they stand right now in the fifth inning. 2-1. Back to Steve and Tommy.
Thank you, John. That's why a lot of people think Seattle has the best chance of any of the clubs to come back because of the Kingdome and the way they play there and the way that they can hit those taters and come from behind. Tim Naring lined hard to center field in the second inning. And looking at ball 1, a good play by Alomar.
Tell you what, so far Reggie Jefferson has responded to the call of Kevin Kennedy's. Hit a couple of balls right on the nose, a base hit, even the ground ball in the second inning to short he nailed.
And Reggie runs well. But down by 3. You got to think that the Red Sox are going to be fairly conservative. 1-1 now to Naring. Would you hit and run here, Tommy? I mean, you got a guy in Nagy who's around the plate.
No, you can't do it when you're down 3-0, and you have some guys who can go out of the yard. Naring's hit 10, and anytime you have the short porch playing ballparks like Fenway or Wrigley Field, especially when you're down, you don't want to take that chance.
Plus, they got the bottom of the order right here, which doesn't help. Another base hit to center field. Sharply hit by Naring. Reggie Jefferson will not have a chance to go to third. So runners at first and second with 1 out. Three hits now, and you see that Mariners score with Martinez home run.
The second baseman.
And the Braves have tied it up now, 3-3 in Atlanta against Colorado. Javi Lopez with a 2-run single. And there's Ron Gant's 2-run home run that has given the Reds the lead over Nomo and the Dodgers. Here's Luis Alicea, who grounded to second in the second. And a fastball right in there for strike one.
Talking about that hit and run situation, I will say the Red Sox, though, this year did a little bit more of that than they had in the past. Stole a few more bases, were on the move more than they had been.
That's something Kevin Kennedy brought. They were a sit back, wait for that big inning team, more so in previous years. And you know, teams play to their ballparks. You got a ballpark with a short right field line and a green monster in left, and you got guys that can pop it. That's the kind of ball you're going to play. You play in Busch Stadium or someplace like that. There's a third base hit up the middle of center field. Here comes Jefferson. He's being held as Lofton made a fine throw to the plate, and the ball was shallow. The bases are loaded on 3 consecutive sharp singles to center.
Well, the bottom part of the order doing their job as Alicea smokes this one back up the middle. There's another reason that Reggie Jefferson didn't score. Number one, yes, the ball was hit hard. Number two, when you have the speed of a Kenny Lofton in center field, you can charge the ball and get to it quicker. So the third base coach, Dave Oliver, with one eye on Lofton, the other eye on Jefferson, finally made the decision, and the right one it was, to hold him up at third base. So you forget about that sometimes with speed in the outfield. You can cut balls off in the gap. That's one thing. Obviously, you can chase down fly balls. But if you charge the ball well, you can keep a runner from scoring sometime from second base.
Absolutely. Kenny Lofton is such a fine outfielder. Boy, he wasted no time. Mark Wiley, the pitching coach, was out having a little conference with Nagy and Alomar. And the Red Sox now have the tying runs aboard. 1 out. Mike McFarland, the hitter. McFarland struck out to open the third inning. Sharply hit the center again. Lofton on the run, gets there. Jefferson will tag. Lofton fell down as Jefferson scores easily on a sacrifice line drive, and it is 3-1 Cleveland.
Talked about the fact that it rained most of the day here in the Boston area. You could see the effects of that as Lofton went back on this ball that's drilled by Mike McFarland. Think about it. A couple of the mistakes that Nagy has made, he's gotten away with a little bit. He made a mistake to get Canseco to line out to end the third. Lofton, as he starts to plant, he makes the catch. Then when he starts to plant to come in with the throw, he slips, but still came up with a pretty good throw to second base.
He did. And Tim Naring couldn't anticipate Lofton falling down, so he remained at second base. The pitch outside to Dwayne Hosey for ball 1.
And I know one thing that Mike Hargrove and Mark Wiley, as pitching coach, are filing away. 4 balls in a row have been absolutely drilled by Boston.
There's another sharply hit ball. Sorrento knocks it down, gets it to Nagy for the out. It could have been a lot more, but some defense turns away some sharp hitting in the fourth for Boston. It's now 3-1.
Still up 3-1 back there in a moment, but the Rockies and the Braves, it was 3-0 Rockies until Ryan Klesko knocks this one down the left field line. Fred McGriff trots in to score, making it a 3-1 count. But the Braves weren't done. Javier Lopez then back up the middle, the infield drawn in, scores Justice and Klesko, and ties the game at 3 apiece. The Braves have come back from down 3-0 to tie it at 3. Meantime, the Dodgers and the Reds. David Wells had a 2-0 lead. Raul Mondesi with a little fluke that just drops in. Karros comes in to score, and 2-1. He gets out of the inning with a strikeout. 2-1 now. David Wells and the Reds lead in the fourth. Steve and Tommy.
Thank you, John. Playoff baseball. You got to love it, man. Let's go back and take a look at what Paul Sorrento did to really shut down Boston in that last half inning.
A little bit of a tough time, too. He's had a couple of errors in the first 2 games, but a great effort as he knocks it down and then gets a good pitching performance by Nagy to get over there and cover the bag. And you think the Red Sox bench knew what happened?
Well, they were ready to jump, and then all of a sudden, wind out of their sails again.
Forget about that play, because a lot of times you forget about the pitcher. But Sorrento made the play by knocking it down, but he can't complete it if Nagy's not over there, and he got over there quickly.
Good point. That ball was headed for a extra base job. But Carlos Baerga grounding to the second baseman Alicea for the second out. While we were updating you and John was bringing you those highlights, Omar Vizquel leading off the inning grounded to Vaughn at first base.
Look back in this ball game, and we're only in the top of the fifth inning, but look back for the Red Sox. They had that 1-6-4 out. The ball hit hard by Greenwell, turned into an out. Naring hit a fly ball in the second inning that was chased down by Kenny Lofton. The 3-1 put out we just saw by Sorrento. The line drive that Canseco hit to end the inning with bases loaded on a hanging breaking ball. And the line drive that McFarland hit that only produced 1 run could have been worse.
That's right. If he pulls it another 10 feet, even Lofton doesn't get there. Well, here's Albert Bell batting with 2 out and nobody on. In each of his first 2 at-bats, he has looked at 11 pitches. He's not only looked at them, he's hammered most of them foul, actually. This one he missed for strike 1. He has struck out swinging and walked.
Watch this thing float. Off the fingertips, flick of the wrist. No way.
That's one of Wakefield's better knucklers tonight. There's another beauty. Strike 2.
See, you don't throw a knuckleball with the same arm action that you throw a fastball or slider. You kind of flick it out there almost like you're throwing darts.
And that's one reason why he can have his foot hit the ground and almost stop and still deliver the ball. A pitcher who was throwing a normal pitch would have to have a different motion. Well, now we're back to Albert's usual at bat as he sends another souvenir down the left field line.
Glove sales are big down that left field line.
A few of those were injuries looking to happen. That one wasn't smoked near as much as a couple earlier. Fouled off at home plate.
Well, wouldn't it be great to see? I mean, the Boston infield has the shift on. 3 guys on the left side. This one with a lot of movement. It'd be great to see the fans down the right field line shift over into the left field line. Could have a fan shift.
That's the only way they're going to get a souvenir. With this pitcher and this hitter. Wakefield retires Cleveland in order for the first time since the first inning. Welcome back to Fenway Park. Steve Zabriskie and Tommy Hutton with you. 3-1. The Indians leading the Red Sox in a big inning right here for Boston. As we go to the 5th, they have the heart of the order. John Valentin, the number 2 hitter, will lead it off. He is 1 for 1 plus a walk. He doubled his last time up. And he skies this one near the first base bag. Paul Sorrento in foul territory. And that wind was having fun with that one. 1 out. Hey, tomorrow on ABC's College Football, a great doubleheader for you. First at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, Ohio State and Penn State. A huge matchup in the Big Ten. Ohio State is hot. Then the Notre Dame Fighting Irish go to the Pacific Northwest to take on the Huskies of Washington. That's at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. A big college football doubleheader beginning at noon Eastern tomorrow here on ABC. Mo Vaughn has lined hard to third and struck out 0 for 2. And way late for strike 1.
After all those changeups, striking out in the 3rd inning, Nagy starts him out with high heat. This is a Mo inning. Mo Vaughn's up, and momentum kind of on the fence, starting to shift. A good inning by Wakefield, a 1-2-3 inning, and the Red Sox have hit the ball hard the last couple.
Strike 2 to Mo. Yeah, the Red Sox need to build on what the bottom part of the order did last inning if they can. Mo now 0 for 12 with 1 more K. Canseco on deck. Canseco 0 for 1 plus a walk so far. Sharply and off the glove of Baerga. That ball fooled him completely. He started to play it one way, and it apparently took a funny hop, and he tried to go to the backhand and couldn't.
Well, he went into the hole. He thought the ball was going to be further to his left than it actually was. Then when he pulled up to play it in front of him, the ball had a little kick to it and went to his right. Starts to move, then starts to shift, has to backhand. Still had a chance right there. If he hangs on after he bobbled, he still would have gotten Mo. But once the ball hit the ground, Mo Vaughn reaches on the error to Carlos Baerga.
When they talk about a ball playing you, they ought to use that picture right there. Well, here's Jose. He lined hard to left field, and Albert Bell is last time up. Ball one is low.
So far, when Nagy has made mistakes, he's gotten away with them. The hanging slider to Canseco, the hard line drive out. He's made a few others.
2 balls and no strikes. That was an error charged to Baerga, by the way. The first error for Cleveland. Boston has committed one as well. So Vaughn on first on the error with 1 out. The shift is on for Canseco. Baerga not quite to the second base bag. Fastball ripped foul. Jose can turn on it just like Albert.
Yeah, he just turns on a good fastball, brings his hands in. A lot of pitchers, you would think, gee, why pitch Canseco inside at Fenway Park? But that's where you want to work him. You want to tie him up. If he gets those arms extended and lifts the ball, then it's goodbye.
Sandy Alomar apparently had the strap of his mask break, and so he had to go get a new catcher's mask. The Mariners still lead the Yankees on Martinez home run. New York has the bases loaded, however. Braves and Rockies still tied at 3. Rockies were ahead 3-0 in that game. And it is now 3-1 Cincinnati over Los Angeles. They're in the top of the 5th inning. Inside, 3-1 now to Jose.
You wonder how many more times the Red Sox can continue to get men on base and not come up with that big clutch hit.
You saw Mike Greenwell on deck. On the corner. Canseco didn't like it. But it's 3-2.
Well, he also in the back of his mind was thinking inner part of the plate. That's where Nagy had been throwing. All of a sudden he went outside.
Pitch popped up. I don't know. Tommy giving it a look, but it's going to be well back into the seats. If it wasn't, that wind was going to help it. The wind continuing to blow in from center field.
Really have to bear down at all positions at Fenway Park, especially in the outfield. There's so many different little holes and entries and fences coming out. Have to be alive.
Did he go? No, says the first base umpire Larry McCoy. And Canseco walks to first. Mo Vaughn goes down to second. 1 out in the inning, and Mike Greenwell will be the hitter.
Tried to get him to chase a breaking pitch, and Jose said, not tonight. And here comes Mark Wiley.
Mark Wiley out for the 2nd time.
I was talking, Steve, a little bit to Mike Hargrove about the last outing. The Rockies go back on top. That's a good battle right there, Rockies and the Braves. The last outing that Nagy had of the season, it was against Kansas City. The Indians won it 17-7. Now, that wasn't the Chiefs against the Browns. But he had told Nagy that he was just going to go 5. Ended up going 5 and did not pitch that well in the ball game. He said he thought a lot of it was because he knew he wasn't going to be out there for the whole duration, or 7 or 8 or 9 innings. So he was looking for a good effort tonight from Charles Nagy.
Well, the first 3 innings were almost overpowering for Nagy. Then he gave up the 3 consecutive base hits in the 4th. And were it not for defense by Lofton and Sorrento, would have given up more than 1 run. right here he's in another jam with first and second and 1 out. And Greenwell misses the first pitch for strike 1. Mike tonight is 0 for 2. He hit into an inning-ending force play in the first and grounded to first in the fourth. Mo Vaughn at second, Jose Canseco at first. Good off-speed pitch for strike 2.
A guy who's been bothered by a bone bruise in his right hand might have to have surgery after the season. Greenwell like to have that one over again. Out over the plate, about belt high. Breaking ball was there.
0-2. Right off the mask of Alomar. Check your fillings, Santos. He just broke one mask a minute ago.
Well, his career has been filled with various injuries, back problems, knee problems. He's glad he had that new mask on that time.
Still 0-2 with 1 out. And another breaking ball gets Greenwell. Strikeout number 4 for Charles Nagy.
That time Nagy makes a good pitch. We've talked about some of the mistakes he's gotten away with. That time he goes down and in. Almost looks like Greenwell trying to do too much with that swing. Instead of just trying to make contact, looked like he was trying to hit that off the Prudential building.
And you can tell when a guy goes down to one knee as he completes the swing that he may have overswung a little bit. Reggie Jefferson hasn't missed many. He misses this one, however. Another breaking ball for strike 1.
Hey, Nagy made the good pitch to Greenwell, came back the same pitch, first one to Jefferson. Yeah, as you said, Mike Greenwell has seen it all. He's seen those 12 losses going back to '86.
Another breaking ball, grounded weakly to second. Baerga gets Jefferson, and the inning is over. Boston now 1 for 24 with runners in scoring position. 6th inning here at Fenway Park. Cleveland leading by 2, and Eddie Murray stands in, having walked twice tonight. He scored one of those 3 Cleveland runs back in the second. Strike 1. I just marvel at every at bat this guy takes.
Well, we talked about all the RBIs, 85 RBIs this year, 19 seasons with 75 or more. The only other guy that's done that, Hank Aaron.
Pretty select company. He watches another dancer hit the corner. 0-2. Wakefield has retired 7 in a row. This one foul back. Let's check in quickly with John Saunders.
Mariners in a 2-1 game with the bases loaded. Randy Johnson facing Don Mattingly, and he gets him swinging. 3rd time in the game Mattingly has struck out. That's only happened 6 times now in his career. The Rockies and the Braves, they're tied at 3 apiece. Smoltz facing Vinny Castilla in the 6th with Bichette aboard. And look at this power to left center field. Gone for the 2-run home run. And the Rockies back on top, 5-3 in the 6th inning. Dodgers and the Reds. Dodgers get a run. But in the next half inning, Brett Boone at the plate facing Nomo. And this is a home run. 3-1, the Reds retake a 2-run lead as they look to close things out against the Dodgers tonight. 3-1 in the 5th. Back to Steve and Tommy.
Thank you, John. I'll tell you what, there's some jack happening around the ballparks tonight.
I flinched on that pitch to Mattingly.
Oh. What? Eddie Murray with a base hit into right center field on a 2-2 pitch to lead off the 6th inning. Back in the 2nd inning, and Jim Thome's first at bat, this is what he did, and it got Cleveland jump started again tonight. The only question was whether it would be fair or foul. He knew it was fair when he punched the air. And in that at bat, Murray was also aboard, having walked. That made it 2-0. Cleveland now leads 3-1. Thome walked in the other run, picking up his third RBI, walking with the bases loaded in the third. So he has driven in all 3 runs tonight.
You know, a guy has hit one hard and in a hurry when you can give the first base coach 5. You know,
That's right.
usually you have to go around the first base coach, not sure, but when it goes out in a hurry and it's well out, you can give first base coach 5. To Davey Nelson was able to give that to Jim Thome.
Good play behind home plate by Mike McFarland, who's earning his money tonight.
Again, to stress the importance with Wakefield, the base hit by Eddie Murray, 2 for 12 are the Indian batters when Wakefield throws a first pitch strike. So it's so important for him to do that.
And that hit by Murray, only the 3rd hit for Cleveland tonight. That ball inside. Now Maddox has been joined by Real Cormier in the bullpen for Boston. Maddox was up earlier, back in the 3rd inning.
Certainly Kevin Kennedy knows, he's seen enough games here. 3-1, not insurmountable at all, but he needs to keep it at the 3-1 type game.
Thome with a ground ball foul onside first. 3-1 with Eddie Murray at first and nobody out. The wheels are turning in both dugouts, but more so in the Red Sox dugout as they're down by 2 and we're into the 6th inning. Thome with that peculiarity he has where he points the bat but looks at a strike. 3-2 now.
Kind of got away with one, but it had a little movement on it, so Thome couldn't pull the trigger.
And there goes Eddie Murray from first on the 3-2 pitch, which is lofted to left. Greenwell first out of the inning. Thome retired and Eddie Murray back to first.
The right fielder,
Still 2-1 Seattle over New
number
York.
24, Manny Ramirez.
And Castilla's 2-run dinger still giving the Rockies a 2-run lead in Atlanta.
Showing baseball fans that yes, he can hit home runs outside of Coors Field.
Right. And the Reds with that 2-run lead. Brett Boone, the difference in that game. His home run off Hideo Nomo. Manny Ramirez now has been hit by a pitch and popped out in foul territory. 0 for 1.
Yeah, I was just thinking, Steve, your remark about Thome pointing the bat. Not unusual for Cleveland fans. Rocky Colavito,
Oh, yeah.
right-handed power hitter, used to do that. A little different way, but pointed it at one point to the pitcher.
Way inside. You can see how the hitters, and this is Ramirez giving an example of how against the knuckleball you want to hang in there as long as you can.
Well, you know, if it hits you, it isn't going to hurt, too.
Right. And you've got to hang in there because you don't know what it's going to do. Manny almost took it on the elbow.
Yeah, Ramirez is trying to do that just so he doesn't bail out.
Do you think, Tommy, that it's true that the high fastball is hard to lay off of, but the high knuckleball is hard to swing at?
The high knuckleball is also hard for the catcher to catch because once he puts that big mitt in front of his face, which is where he has to for a high knuckleball, all of a sudden he's blocked his entire view.
And there's last-minute movement.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of hitters facing a knuckleball pitcher, though, lay off the high knuckleball thinking it's going to stay up. And a lot of times the last movement on a knuckleball is down and it winds up being a strike. Ramirez works out a walk. That moves Murray down to second.
Number 11,
With 1 out.
first baseman, Paul Sorrento.
That is the 5th walk issued by Wakefield. And so Paul Sorrento will stand in. He has popped out to second and struck out swinging. He saved a run or maybe even 2 with a diving stop. Strike 1.
It's just amazing what Wakefield has been able to do after going 5-15 last year at the AAA level in Buffalo. Earned run average was almost 6. Nobody wanted him. The Red Sox and Dan Duquette, their general manager, took a chance.
On the outside corner for a strike. 0-2 to Sorrento as he barks a little bit at Jim McKean.
Tough to hit, tough to catch, tough to call for an umpire.
I'll tell you what, McFarland's doing a heck of a job framing those pitches as best he can.
Yeah, I don't see how you can frame a knuckleball that's moving that much.
Sorrento with a line drive over the head of Alicea, who gave it a good shot. Here comes Eddie Murray, and he will score. On the play, Ramirez goes to third. It is 4-1 Cleveland. And still only one out. The Indians with runners at first and third.
The catcher, number 15.
The RBI for Sorrento, his first of the series.
Pretty good base running by the veteran Eddie Murray, because this line drive is almost catchable by Luis Alicea, but Eddie got a good jump, and also taking advantage of Jose Canseco. I'll tell you what, third base coach Jeff Newman isn't going to hesitate sending anybody on a ball hit to right field. And also going to third base, Manny Ramirez. Watch Eddie Murray. Good jump. A lot of base runners would hesitate even more and maybe not score. Eddie was able to cruise in it.
Sandy Alomar with a drive into left center field. One hops the wall. Another run is in as Ramirez scores. Sorrento goes to third, and an RBI double for Alomar makes it 5-1. That's Sandy's first RBI of the series.
Boy, now you get to the point where you can see the Cleveland Indians starting to taste it.
And that brings Kevin Kennedy to the mound. And we'll be all for Tim Wakefield. We will take out timeout while the pitching change is made. The Indians threaten to break it open here in the sixth. A 4-run lead and a couple of big RBI base hits here in the sixth inning have chased Tim Wakefield. As you see his numbers, he's still, of course, responsible for Sorrento, who's at third base, and Alomar, who's at second. And Real Cormier will come on in relief, his second appearance. And we've had some great overhead shots of beautiful Fenway at night tonight, and it's provided, of course, by the Goodyear blimp, the Stars and Stripes. Goodyear blimps are now in their fourth decade of providing live sports coverage, and we're happy that they're cruising the Boston skyline tonight.
And a much prettier shot here at Fenway Park than at the Kingdome in Seattle.
It's hard to see through that roof.
One of the reasons Kevin Kennedy made this move with Cormier, because he had Cormier and Maddox warming up at the same time. Speaking of the Kingdome, Mariners hold on to that 3-1 lead. Rockies still 2 up on the Atlanta Braves in the 7th inning, and the Cincinnati Reds trying to close out the Dodgers and Hideo Nomo at Riverfront Stadium. But Maddox and Cormier were warming up. With the top of the order and Kenny Lofton up there, left-handed hitter, he wanted to go with his left-hander, who was acquired from the Cardinals, along with Mark Whitten, for Scott Cooper. And Scott Cooper, a little bit of a disappointment in St. Louis for the Cardinals, but Cormier has filled a good role for Boston this year. He's been a spot starter. He's been setting up in the bullpen, and the Moncton, New Brunswick native of Canada. There's a little Canadian weather out there tonight.
Yeah, a little nippy, just right up his alley. Cormier's made one previous appearance in the series. He pitched only a third of an inning, and that third of an inning was a strikeout that he recorded.
But what's happening to the Red Sox right now is exactly what they did not want to happen. Remember, we mentioned that Kevin Kennedy wanted to keep it at 3-1, because certainly that's not a huge lead at Fenway Park. For that matter, 5-1 is not a huge lead.
But just when the fans were getting back into it, and the Red Sox had gotten some men on base in the 4th inning and the 5th inning, this 6th inning by Cleveland has quieted things down a bit. Naring is in at third. Lofton 0 for 3 on the night, and a strike. Sorrento, the runner, at third. Sandy Alomar at second. There's still only 1 out in the inning, and 2 runs are in. The break ball misses outside, 1-1.
With Kenny Lofton up there, who's an excellent bunter, third baseman Tim Naring thinking about that. I don't think he would do that because you don't have great speed at third base in Paul Sorrento. If you're going to bunt for a base hit, especially with a man on second, I don't think Kenny Lofton's thinking about base hit bunt here. He wants to loft one in the air and pick up a sacrifice fly.
Oh, 2-1 count now with 1 out.
The other key in this ball game, Cleveland Indians, they're getting hits when they need to. The Red Sox have stranded 2 runners each of the last 3 innings.
Yep, and a total of 8 in the game. Now Cormier stepping off and looking over at Sorrento, the runner at third. A little bit high with a fastball. So now it's 3-1 to Lofton. The Yankees now down by 3 as the Mariners have scored again. Buhner with the RBI single.
An ex-Yankee.
Fouled off at the plate. Lofton hit himself in the leg. And it's 3-2. Sorrento back to third. Alomar back to second.
Kenny Lofton led the league in stolen bases, but had to do it right toward the end. Also led the league in triples, but had some leg problems and even was put on the disabled list during this season.
And when speed's your game, you don't want those leg injuries.
Got to have those wheels healthy.
Lofton loves to hit here. He hit .348 here at Fenway this year during the regular season. 3-2 pitch foul back. The Red Sox have brought their infield in halfway. The crowd really quiet now.
2 runs here in the 6th really deflated the crowd at Fenway.
And a good pitch by Cormier to get Lofton. Kenny now 0 for 4 in the game, and the big second out in the inning with runners at second and third.
That's another thing that is so impressive about the Cleveland Indians on a good slider there by Real Cormier. You're talking about their leadoff man. Kenny Lofton's 0 for 4. Vizquel is 0 for 3. So the top of the lineup hasn't even been on base, and they're leading 5-1. So many different ways they can beat you.
Vizquel has flied out, struck out, and grounded out. Ball 1. Tim Wakefield went 5 1/3 innings. He gave up only 4 hits. Make that 5. Now the Mariners have gone up 6-1 over the Yankees. Flowers has added an RBI single.
Another ex-Yankee.
You just keep pointing that out.
This is a little guy you have to watch out for if you're Real Cormier. A big double, a couple of RBIs in game 2 by Vizquel.
And 2 guys are out there right now. On the inside corner, strike 1, 2-1. Cormier trying to hold him right here. Fastball for strike 2. 2-2 now to Vizquel.
Cormier staying inside and pounding him with the hard stuff, catching the inner part of the plate.
And against a guy that doesn't have a lot of power, that's not necessarily a bad thing to do.
Want to make sure you have the right signs. McFarland was crossed up the other night. Don't want to do that with runners at second and third.
Now they're still not together.
Yeah.
McFarland wants to go out and talk.
Probably not together on what pitch they want to throw here.
While they talk, let's let John talk. John Saunders.
Well, Steve, the Yankees and the Mariners are doing the talking with their bats. Steve Howe comes on to face Tino Martinez with the bases loaded. He scores Vince Coleman 3-1 at that point. He had driven in 3 runs. Then Jay Buhner with the bases loaded. He drives in another to make it 4-1. After a Mike Blauer single to make it a 5-1 game, Luis Sojo comes up. And this is a sacrifice fly that drives in Tino Martinez, making it a 6-1 count. Seattle has blown this one wide open for Randy Johnson. 6-1 in the 6th. Stephen Tommy.
God, well, you give the big unit a 5-run lead, you're in pretty good shape, I would think, especially at home. Here it is 5-1 Cleveland. And this ball by Vizquel popped up in foul territory, and the wind pushes it out of play. It landed about 4 rows back and then ricocheted back onto the field of play. But it's 3-2 with 2 out. There's that flag giving you the indication of the breeze blowing in.
Again, on a night, if the wind isn't blowing the way it is, this ball may stay in the ballpark. Good effort there by Mike McFarland to hustle over there. All that catching gear on.
Fan, however, tough play for the fan. So another 3-2 pitch. And a base hit into left center field will score 2 more runs. Omar Vizquel drives in both Sorrento and Alomar, and it is a 7-1 Cleveland lead. Both of those runs charged to Tim Wakefield.
Well, we talked about what Vizquel has meant to this ball club, and it's almost the type of situation when the Indians picked him up and decided to have him as their shortstop, everything fell into place. Cormier makes a mistake. Vizquel's not going to strike out too much. He just makes contact. Didn't hit the ball all that hard, but it was enough to drive in 2.
So he's at first with 2 out for Carlos Baerga, who's 1 for 3 with a run scored. Ball 1.
Kevin Kennedy is thinking now. He has Maddox, the right-hander, out there, but he really wanted Cormier to get through Vizquel, and like he's pitching right here at Baerga, to switch him over to the right side. Obviously, with Bell due up, he's not going to let Cormier pitch, but things didn't work out because of the base hit by Vizquel.
And Baerga with a base hit into right center field. Canseco can't cut it off, and it goes all the way to the wall. Vizquel will score an RBI double for Carlos Baerga to make it 8-1. When this inning started, it was a 2-run game, and Cleveland has hammered home 5 in the 6th.
Now you're seeing the Cleveland Indians at their absolute best. The reason they won 100 ball games this year. Out over the plate, Baerga can hit him anywhere, right center to left center. And by the time Canseco chases this one down, Vizquel scores all the way from first base. Takes a little peek right there, and I'm sure right about now Vizquel knows he's going to score. He didn't even have to look at Jeff Newman, his third base coach.
Well, Kevin Kennedy is back on the mound again as the Red Sox fans have had the wind taken out of their sails yet again. This is something they are unfortunately all too used to here in Boston. They have been brought to the dance many times, only to wind up not taking the floor. While the pitching change is made, let's check out our Toyota Diamond Dust question of the evening. Don Mattingly made his first postseason appearance after 1,785 regular season games. Which Hall of Famer made his playoff debut with the A's in 1975 after 2,368 regular season games? You think Donnie Baseball waited a long time?
I think I have a guess on that, a pretty good one.
I think you're probably right.
How about Billy Williams? Well, you can tell just by the expression of Tim Wakefield, and I would imagine that expression is a very common one on the bench right now for the Boston Red Sox, as well as in the stands with their fans.
Well, that young guy's not giving up yet. The Red Sox have already lost a major league record 12 straight postseason games going back to '86.
Well, their general manager, Dan Duquette, has put together a super ball club. He's made some great acquisitions. We talked about picking up Tim Wakefield. He'll be the first to admit that that was just a chance. It was a chance that he was able to hook Wakefield up with the Negro brothers in spring training. But some other moves, making the trade with getting Canseco, bringing in some of the pitchers that he was able to do, bringing in O'Leary. Troy O'Leary hasn't had a chance to play in this series. He's had a sore back, some back problems, but Tinsley and Willie McGee helped down the stretch. So Kevin Kennedy and Dan Duquette have put together a good ball club, but they are up against a tremendous ball club, the Cleveland Indians.
Well, you can't really fault the things that they have done because they obviously worked for the regular season, and the Red Sox are here. And what they have done really has been positive and really doesn't have that much bearing on the results in this playoff series.
It's one of those things you reflect on a week or so after you're blown out of the playoffs. You're not thinking about it right now.
No, not at all.
And after everything is settled, when the dust clears, you'll think about the type of year the Red Sox had. How many of them picked the Boston Red Sox in spring training?
Exactly. Well, Albert Bell is the 9th Indian to bat here in the 6th inning, and he faces Mike Maddox, who's making his second appearance of the series. A slow roller to third, Tim Naring in time, and the inning is finally over. But a big 5 spot in the 6th inning for Cleveland.
Rockies with a 2-run lead in the game, but the Braves fighting their way back. Mordecai sends this one to the gap in left center field. One hopper off the wall. Klesko comes in to score, makes it a 5-4 count. They're still batting as the Braves trying to come back at home in the 7th inning. Back to Steve and Tommy.
Thank you, John. I tell you what, they are battling. Well, right here, the Red Sox have got a hole they got to battle out of. Tim Naring leading off the 6th inning for Boston, now down 8-1. A ground ball to short. Omar Vizquel, and quickly one away. Let's go back and take a look at our MCI proof positive replay. And Tommy, this has to be the play of the game so far. Paul Sorrento almost didn't get this ball.
Well, in the 4th inning with the tying runs on base, the score was 3-1 at the time. Dwayne Hosey hits a shot up that first base line. Sorrento knocks it down, and they made the good feed to Charles Nagy's covering first base.
And that ball got by Sorrento. Both runs probably could have scored, and of course Hosey with great speed would have been on base. The game could have been tied at that point. And after that, Cleveland comes up and bangs out 5 runs on 5 hits to take control of the game.
You know, the nature of the game, Steve, is that people will say, well, the Red Sox didn't come up with big hits at the right time. But the thing is, they hit the ball hard during those times. That play, the shot by Hosey, the line drive by Canseco in the 3rd inning, even that sacrifice line drive by McFarland.
Right, and the 3 previous base hits by that were sharply hit to center. Inside to Alicea, who's 1 for 2.
Remember, we told you at the beginning of the game, the last pitcher that got more run support was Don Newcomb in 1955 for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Well, Charles has 8 of them tonight, and Alicea looks at a called 3rd strike for the 2nd out of the inning. This 1995 Division Series game is brought to you by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Network MCI, how to get modern communications technology working for your business. And Gillette Sensor and the Gillette Series. Gillette, the best a man can get. A ground ball by McFarland to 3rd, and a very quick inning. 1, 2, 3 for Charles Nagy. More after this from our ABC stations. Eddie Murray, who led off the 6th inning, will lead off the 7th inning because the Indians batted around in the 6th to break it open to an 8-1 lead. Murray tonight 1 for 1 plus 2 walks. He scored 2 runs. Murray, Tomey, and Ramirez. Inside ball 1. Mike Maddox, the 3rd pitcher of the evening for Boston. 2.
Only the second time in his career Eddie Murray had to spend some time on the disabled list this year. And just to show you how deep the Cleveland Indians are, they got some great games. A fellow by the name of Herbert Perry played first base, did the job on the year, hit .315 in the 52 games. He was a Cleveland Indian, so it seemed like whoever they put out there was able to produce. And hitting is contagious. When you play on a hitting ball club, you're usually going to hit.
Right back to Maddox. Murray will be retired for the first time tonight. Well, let's go back and take a look at our Toyota Diamond Dust quiz. Remember, we talked about Donnie Baseball and his postseason after 1,700 and some games. Who was the guy with the A's in '75 who finally got into the postseason after 2,368?
Billy Williams, I think.
I think you're right. You are right.
He finally got out of Wrigley Field and away from the Cubs and got to postseason. And what a sweet swing Billy Williams had.
The swing. Nice going, pal. You were on top of that from the minute the question was asked. I have to start calling you Mr. Baseball. Well, Jim Thome's had a big night tonight. A 2-run home run that got everything going in the second inning. Then he walked with the bases loaded to drive in the third run. Here he grounds out to Valentin for the second out of the inning. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent from the Office of the Commissioner. So don't do it. And maybe we'll have somebody in that office that can write a letter.
You can go into that office because it's vacant right now. Nobody's there.
I don't know who's going to write that letter, but hopefully we'll have a commissioner soon. Well, let's hope. 2 out, nobody on for Manny Ramirez, who was 0 for 1. He's also been hit by a pitch, and he walked and scored in the 6th inning. Strike 1.
So far, Mike Maddox has come in and done his job, retiring the 3 hitters he's faced.
All on ground balls.
Get that little sinker slider working.
Breaking ball hit in the air to center field, just as we say, all on ground balls. He hits one to Dwayne Hosey. The inning is over. That's what Boston needed, was to get Cleveland out in order, but they're still down by 7. We're going to the bottom half of the 7th inning, and 7 is the operative number right now because that's the lead the Indians have over Boston. Top of the order for the Red Sox, Dwayne Hosey to lead it off. He is 0 for 2 plus a walk. And he pops this one up down the left field line. It's headed for the seats, and the wind will, as usual, help it on its way. Strike 1.
Talked about those first 4 hitters, the beginning of our telecast, having gone 2 for 37. Well, they've put together just 1 hit tonight, the double by John Valentin, and he's gotten all of those hits. All 3 hits from the first 4 hitters have come from John Valentin.
And he's on deck. Breaking ball fouled off again. I'll tell you, those people over there got the souvenir seats tonight, don't they? Mariners now with a 4-run lead. The Yankees have added a run. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning with a 6-2 lead. Rockies still leading by a run in Atlanta. And it's 7-1. Reds over the Dodgers. The Reds threatening to close it out, as are the Indians here.
You know, I think there's one little thing the Yankees have to watch out for. It almost was if they went to Seattle conceding the 3rd game, knowing that they were going to face Randy Johnson. But sometimes you get shut down by somebody. It's not easy to bring it back and get it going. Granted, they do have David Cohn ready to pitch probably game 5 if needed.
Yeah, but a restart is harder than keeping it going, that's for sure. That's down low to Hosey, and the count is now 2-2.
And I think that the Indians felt the same way. They knew if they weren't able to come in here tonight and take charge, their hitters would have seen Tim Wakefield then have to regroup against Roger Clemens in the next ball game.
Hosey out on strikes.
And a lot of that attitude comes from the manager. I think Mike Hargrove has really instilled that in his players. And Nagy just strikes out Hosey on a nasty breaking ball down and in. He's really regrouped after The third and fourth inning, even the fifth inning with base runners, he got out of some jams. All of a sudden now he's really settled in.
He has retired the last 6 in a row. John Valentin, the hitter, grounding one foul for strike one. Valentin with a double back in the third inning, 1 for 2 plus a walk. And again tonight, as you pointed out, Tommy, the damage, what has been done by Boston by the bottom of the order. Jefferson, Naring, Alicea, sacrifice fly by the 9th hitter, McFarland.
Hey, Bo, we love you, man. I love you, Bo.
That's a major league record that nobody wants, but the Red Sox have it, and
Have fun,
they're
man.
staring at number 13 right now. In the dirt, 1 and 2.
I'll tell you how Nagy has it working. Last 10 batters have failed to hit the ball out of the infield. Team earned run average 3.83, led the American League. All the talk about their offense.
Foul out of play. Let's check in with John Saunders for an update.
Guthrie brought on in relief, down 3-1 in the 6th inning, and the bases are loaded. Mark Lewis comes up and just blasts it out of there. The grand slam with Morris, Santiago, and all runners come in to score. 7-1 is the lead in the 6th.
Oh, I tell you what, Cleveland Indian fans happy about that. Mark Lewis at one time was going to be the Indians' shortstop of the future.
There's a drive by Valentin high in the air, and it could be nope. It's dropped by Lofton. He got there. I was going to say it could be a tough play because of the wind, and then Kenny looked to settle under the ball and missed it.
Well, it's something that really shouldn't happen, especially when you have two guys that have been out there all year playing together, Kenny Lofton and Albert Bell. It's a ball that Lofton really has to just totally take charge in, but I think he thought because of the drifting wind that it was going to go to Albert Bell. Albert seemed to be there for it, and really a lot of indecision. You can see Lofton calling for it. I got it, I got it, I got it.
It didn't look like he took his eyes off.
No, he just misplayed the ball.
Well, it's an error, of course, on Lofton, and Valentin's at first for Mo Vaughn, whose struggles have continued. He is 0 for 3 tonight. He is lined to third, struck out swinging, and reached on an error on Baerga in the 5th. But 0 for 13 for the series. Breaking ball stays high. 2 balls and no strikes. 1 out, 1 on in the 7th inning for Boston. Jose on deck. Jose has hit the ball hard for his out and walked twice. Ground ball foul. Makes it 2-1.
Well, he put a couple of things together, and you can see the reasons for Mo Vaughn's struggles. He's not swinging the bat the way he normally does, but he's also being pitched extremely well. The way Dennis Martinez and Oral Hershiser and the Cleveland bullpen has worked in this series, you can see why he's had struggles.
Drives this one foul out of play the other way, and it's 2-2. In every lineup, in every game, and especially in postseason and a short series on top of that, the opposing team looks at the other team's lineup and says, what one guy do we not want to have beat us? Let's start there. Well, they're going to start with Mo Vaughn. He's the MVP candidate. He's the guy that carried this club for pretty much the first 2/3 of the season. And so that's exactly what Cleveland has done. They have not allowed Mo Vaughn to beat him. And in doing so, they haven't allowed Mo Vaughn to do hardly anything.
Buddy Bell there on the left view screen, along with Hargrove, Mark Wiley.
3-2. Valentin at second with 1 out. And ball 4. Mo Vaughn will walk to first. And that'll bring up Jose Canseco. And also is going to bring
Mark Wiley will go to the mound. Right now, doesn't appear to be any action in the Cleveland bullpen. I think they'd like to see Charles Nagy at least get through this 7th inning. They have such a fine bullpen, some good young arms out there, Julian Taveras, Alan Embry, among others, that they're not afraid at all to go to that bullpen. And you know, we've talked so much about the depth of the Cleveland Indians, and then if they ever get to that saving situation, they have the league's leader in Jose Mesa. So it just goes from the bench to defense to power to speed to bullpen to starters. Pretty much of a complete package, the Cleveland Indians.
Yep. They've made 2 errors tonight, but at this point with a 7-run lead, it hasn't hurt them. But they come with all that they need to have to win ball games, and they have really put it together in this series in these 3 games. Canseco lined out hard to left field in the 3rd inning and walked his other 2 at-bats. Popped up in the infield. Who's going to take charge? Comey fighting the wind. He makes the play for the 2nd out. Valentin will remain at 2nd and Vaughn at 1st.
Say what,
Jose's trouble continues.
Tomey took charge, but he almost took charge a little too soon because the ball drifted over to the first base side right where Sorrento was. But at least you have to feel good if you're a Cleveland fan watching somebody take charge, because we've seen some miscommunication tonight.
And that wind again just kept pushing that ball, and Tomey just had to keep following.
Tomey said, gee, maybe I called that a little too soon, huh?
But he made the play. And here's Mike Greenwell, 0 for 3. The middle of the lineup, silent again. Strike 1.
Well, Mike Greenwell has just been steady during his 10-year career. Lifetime 300 hitter.
I'll tell you what, you play that long and can say that, you've done the job. 1-1. Julian Taveras and Paul Ossenmacher. There's a couple ends of the spectrum right there. Youngster and veteran throwing in the Cleveland bullpen. Grounded to short. Vizquel to first, and the inning is over. An error and a walk, but both are left. Boston has now left 10 on base, trailing by 7.
A couple of innings away from the sweep, and the Mariners a couple of innings away from staying alive. Tino Martinez at the plate was 3 for 3. Lifts this one out to left field. Velarde up with it, and then the throw home. Coleman can't score, right? Well, unless the throw gets past everyone, and it does. Coleman comes in, and Seattle is rolling 7-2. Steve and Tommy.
Thank you, John. Those Mariners fighting to keep it going, as they too were down 2-0. Here it's a 7-run Cleveland lead as we go to the 8th inning. Paul Sorrento, who is 1 for 3 and drove in one of those runs and scored himself in the 6th inning, leads it off.
And made a great play at first base.
He did that. A timely one also. A key play. 1-1. Sandy Alomar, and then the top of the order, Kenny Lofton to follow. Against Mike Maddox, working his 2nd full inning in relief. Right in there.
Couple of guys in this ball game, Steve, that from different parts of the country were roommates at Florida State. On the Seminole baseball team, Paul Sorrento, and second baseman Luis Alicea.
They're not teammates now.
Alicea said the only thing bad about Sorrento as a roommate, they roomed together when they were freshmen, is it because he grew up in Peabody, Mass, he was so used to cold weather he kept the room too cold all the time.
Alicea is used to having things a little warmer. Still a ball and 2 strikes to Sorrento.
Luis from Puerto Rico lives in Florida now.
The breaking ball. Sorrento lays off 2-2. Well, the fans have started to depart here at Fenway. There were over 34,000 on hand jammed in here, but it has been a tough history of postseason play. That's foul outside first for the Red Sox. And this is going to perpetuate the stuff about the curse of the Babe and the 1919, and you know, it's almost as if they're resigned to it, though. You and I both had experience with cab drivers.
That's exactly right.
Like, I mean, it's over. I mean, they didn't even hold out any hope.
Well, after their 5-4 loss in that first game, a game they could have won. Tim Naring hit a home run in the 11th inning, put them ahead. I came in from the airport. The cab driver said, after 6-7 innings, they were losing. I turned the thing off. I figured they'd just lose again.
This one hit off the hands, but going to be enough to flare it into right center field for a base hit for Sorrento.
Actually, though, Steve, it was a treat just to have a cab driver who could speak English and talk about baseball.
Okay. Well, we're seeing some beautiful shots as night and the fog is rolling in here in Boston. The Goodyear blimp Stars and Stripes from Pompano Beach, Florida, doing it. Captain Larry Chambers from Lighthouse Point, Florida, at the controls. We Floridians stick together, right, Tommy? Way to go, Captain Chambers and crew. Thanks for the shots. Fastball at the knees. Strike one to Sandy Alomar, who was also 1 for 3. He had an RBI double and scored in the 6th inning.
Talking about depth on these two teams. The game-winning home run the other night. How about that one from Tony Pena, veteran catcher?
Well, you know, you think back in the history, and I don't care whether it's the divisional playoffs, the league championship series, the World Series. There's Tony right there. He, of course, once played here in Boston and had some good seasons for the Red Sox. There really hasn't been a team that has gone through a postseason successfully where virtually all the guys on that club have not in some way contributed to that success. Good fastball right there from Maddox, and Alomar behind it for the strikeout. It does take a whole team to win.
And they have done that. You know, I saw that shot at Tony Pena. The great story surrounding that home run. It was on a 3-0 pitch off Zane Smith. Everybody wanted to know if he had the green light or the red light. And he said, no, I think it was amber.
It was qualified after the fact. It turned out to be, of course, great for him to do that on the 3-0 pitch, whether he had the light or not. The results made it at least amber. Kenny Lofton is 0 for 4 on the corner. One and one. One out and one on. Sorrento led off the inning with a single. A little bit high. 2 and 1.
I think another interesting story about these two clubs. The Red Sox clinched with some time left. Obviously, the Cleveland Indians did the same. But Boston finished 5-5. Didn't play great baseball. The Cleveland Indians, on the other hand, they clinched so early, they put a goal in the back of their mind. They said, and again, it comes from Mike Hargrove, they said, let's win 100 games. So they set out, they finished the season 144.
That's right. They won that 100th on the last day. There's a base hit through the hole by Lofton. Sorrento will stop at second, and the Indians just keep pounding. 9 hits now for the Tribe.
Mike Hargrove, a fine major league player. 12-year career in the major leagues at a lifetime batting average of .290 and over 300 6 times. So he knows what it's like to hit the ball, and he's been the manager now of the Indians. This is his 4th full year. Starting to settle in at that job and doing a super job handling a good ball club, which people will say, well, why should he be manager of the year? They had a great ball club. A lot of good teams haven't won.
That's right. Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, the guys that are around the team and see them day in and day out, see the moves that are made, see the way the guy handles the players, talk to the players. That's how you find out also what kind of job the manager is doing. Vizquel had a 2-run base hit and scored in the 6th inning in the 5-run 6th inning for the Indians. Batting here with 2 on and only 1 out.
Of course, with Mike Maddox on the mound, should the Braves not win that ball game tonight against the Rockies, his brother Greg would be pitching for Atlanta. Their 4th game. Tough to get a lot of notoriety when your brother's Greg Maddox, but Mike, a very solid middle relief pitcher in the major leagues.
Had some early success as a starter. Inside makes it 2-2 now to Vizquel. Yankees have added a run. It's now 7-3 Seattle in the top of the 8th inning. Bernie Williams, boy, what a series he's having. Grounded to first. Mo Vaughn with a good backhanded play. Maddox will cover for the 2nd out. Sorrento moves to 3rd and Lofton to 2nd on the play. That'll bring up Carlos Baerga, who's had a couple of hits tonight and driven in a run.
Not an easy play for Mo. It's a little tricky hop right there. Stays with it. When as a first baseman, you love to see that pitcher get over there in a hurry.
Now, you had the good glove over there, pal.
Yeah, but you wanted to look up and see that guy there.
You weren't going to be able to make it in time. Baerga takes a strike. Carlos has a single and a double in 4 trips, scored a run and driven in a run. Just another night at the office for him.
What's new? Baerga, base hits, RBIs. Carlos Baerga, twice in his career, wasn't able to do it this year, but twice has hit 300 with a couple of 100 hits, 20 home runs and 100 RBIs. Roger Hornsby, the only other that's done that.
Well, we got Monday Night Football coming up on guess when? Monday night. Arrowhead Stadium, San Diego Chargers and Kansas City Chiefs. Steve Bono will be in there doing a good job. Of course, it's 2 of the better teams in the NFL right now. Monday Night Football, 9 Eastern. Kansas City, San Diego. One and one. Baerga with a drive to right field. Canseco on the run. He will get there. And the inning is over. 2 hits, 2 left. But Cleveland still with a nice 7-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Indians leading 8-1 as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning, and some changes for Cleveland on the defensive side. Alvaro Espinoza has come into the game at 3rd base to replace Jim Thome, who is done for the evening but did quite well this evening. And Julian Taveras is on in relief of Charles Nagy, who pitched 7 fine innings tonight, surviving a shaky middle of those 7 innings, and again getting outstanding run support from his buddies.
And also one other move in the outfield. Wayne Kirby goes in to play right field. So also a little thing that Mike Hargrove's doing here. He didn't always make these moves during the year. Occasionally he did, but he's getting Kirby in a game. Espinosa has yet to appear in postseason, so he's giving him a little action. And Taveras, amongst all the pitchers you talk about, here's one that has a great young arm.
Before we get going here, let's get an update again from John Saunders. John.
Critical situation. Braves trailing the Rockies 5-4. 1 on, 1 out. Lopez to face Darren Holmes. Let's take you out for bonus coverage to Fulton County Stadium.
Pete Van Wert along with Larry Derker welcoming you to Atlanta for the close of this game. Those of you who have been watching other games, it's 5-4 Rockies. A runner at first, 1 out. Lopez the batter, Darren Holmes the pitcher, 1-1 the count. Colorado trying to send this to a 4th game. Darren Holmes, the 6th pitcher to work tonight for the Rockies, throwing to first. Klesko back safely. Here's the 1-1. Little looping fly ball, shallow right field. Walker coming on, diving try, did not come up with it. Heading for third is Klesko. Runners at first and third. Walker got to the ball, got a glove on it, but couldn't quite hang on. And Atlanta now with runners first and third, 1 man out. Mike Mordecai, the batter. He did not get much of a pitch to hit here. That wasn't even a strike. That was a foot outside, right off the end of the bat. Great effort here by Larry Walker, but he trapped the ball. And Ryan Klesko with a play in front of him there. Gets all the way around to third. Mordecai delivered a big run-scoring pinch hit single in game 2 to win the game for Atlanta, give them a go-ahead run. He had a pinch hit double and stayed in the game here. We're in the bottom half of the 9th inning in Atlanta. Colorado leading at 5-4. But Atlanta has runners at first and third with 1 out. 1 ball, no strikes on Mordecai. Ooh, Holmes almost balked there. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Right through there for a call strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Luis Polonia has moved on deck. Klesko, the potential tying run at third. Lopez, a potential winner at first. Breaking ball outside. 2-1 to Mordecai. Thinking, not again. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Trying to bunt it and foul it off to the right. Down 2-2. Lead. Lopez off first. Klesko off third. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Mordecai. A little bit low. And that fills the count 3-2. Luis Polonia waiting in the on-deck circle. No activity in the Rockies bullpen. The fake throw to third. The look back to first. We're in the bottom half of the 9th inning in Atlanta. Colorado leading at 5-4, but Atlanta has runners at first and third, 1 out. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fly ball hit out to shallow left field. Bichette coming on, makes the catch. Klesko's coming halfway down, going back. And that's a big second out for Darren Holmes. And now Don Baylor is going to come out to the mound, not to make a change this time, but probably to review the scouting report on Luis Polonia, who will come on to pinch hit for Greg McMichael. Polonia coming over from the Yankees. Hit .264 for Atlanta. The fly ball hit to shallow left field. Bichette making the catch. Klesko going about almost halfway down before putting on the brakes and coming back. Ted Turner thought it was deep enough. Not quite. 2 men out. Here's Polonia. Runners at first and third. The Rockies need 1 more out to send this to a 4th game tomorrow night. The pitch to Polonia. 0-1. Polonia as a pinch hitter for Atlanta this year was 8 for 18. A .444 pinch hit average. The 0-1 pitch. Fouled away. The count 0-2. Billy Swift worked the first 6 innings in this game. Left with a 5-4 lead. A gutsy performance by the starting pitcher for the Rockies with that ailing shoulder. And now if Darren Holmes can get 1 more out, Billy Swift will be the first Colorado pitcher to ever win a postseason game. 0-2 on Polonia. First and third, 2 outs. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fly ball, shallow left field. Bichette coming on, can't get it. Base hit. Klesko scores. Down to second, Javi Lopez. We are tied 5-5. A 2-out pinch hit run scoring single for Luis Polonia. A breaking ball. Polonia hit it a little bit off the end of the bat, just flared it into left field. Now Marquise Grissom takes a strike in the outside corner. They knew it all along. 5-5, bottom of the ninth. Lopez at second. The 0-1 pitch to Grissom fouled off the count, 0-2. That was an 0-2 pitch that Polonia hit into left field for the base hit to tie up this game. And you see the reaction of Luis Polonia with 2 outs in the 9th inning. He's at first. Lopez, a potential winning run, down at second. The 0-2 pitch to Marquise Grissom. Ground ball. Funny hop. Walt Weiss has it. Goes to second in time for the force. But the Atlanta Braves, rebounding again in the 9th inning, have tied this game up. We go to extra innings in Atlanta.
Thank you, Pete. We're back here at Fenway Park, and Willie McGee, pinch hitting, has just driven in a run with the bases loaded by avoiding a double play.
The only play right there, the force, not a chance to double up the still speedy Willie McGee. Been an interesting inning for the Red Sox to get a bad hop single from Mike McFarland to keep things going.
And the batter now, John Valentin, batting with runners at first and third and 2 out. Valentin tonight had a double back in the 3rd inning. He's also walked. 1 for 3 officially. Fastball foul outside third. After Reggie Jefferson looked at a called 3rd strike, Tim Naring singled to left. Luis Alicea singled to left. Then McFarland got the bad hop off of Alvaro Espinosa's chest at 3rd. And McGee, pinch hitting for Hosey, grounded the ball to short. They got the force play at 2nd on McFarland, and McGee safe at 1st with the run scoring as Naring came home. Another ground ball to short. Again, Vizquel to Baerga, and the inning is over. A run on 3 hits in the 8th for Boston. Still a big 6-run lead.
Inning away from wrapping things up, and the Yankees and the Mariners. The Yankees are trying to fight back. Randy Johnson out of the game. Bill Risley is in. That's Bernie Williams' 2nd home run of the game. makes it 7-3. The next man to come to the plate, Mike Stanley. He also goes to right field. 7-4 in this game as the Yankees aren't done. It's in the top of the 9th. One last shot, or they'll have to play tomorrow. The Dodgers and the Reds, 7th inning, bases loaded. Mike Jackson is up, and Kelly goes after this one, dives, can't get it. Jackson has a double. The bases were loaded, not for long. They're cleared now, and the Reds well in command in the 7th, 10-1 on the way to the sweep. Steve and Tommy.
Thank you, John. Oh, man, that is going to be the new Big Red Machine, I guess, huh? Something.
Well, a lot of people in Ohio hoping for that Cincinnati-Cleveland World Series.
That'd be something. Reminiscent of the Missouri.
They couldn't go wrong either with a couple of great ball clubs.
There'll be some hammering going on if it turns out that way. Albert Bell leads off the 9th inning. And a new pitcher on, rookie Joe Hudson, pitching the 9th. For the Red Sox, Willie McGee stays in the game and plays center field after pinch hitting for Dwayne Hosey in the bottom half of the 8th. Bell fouls it off the other way. There's a rare foul to the right side. 1-2.
They got a young pitcher, Joe Hudson, 25 years old, called up from Double-A in June, and here he is pitching against Albert Bell.
His first appearance in the postseason. He did not make an appearance in the first 2 games of this series. And you get to start against Albert Bell. Welcome to the big leagues. Ground ball hit sharply to short. Valentin up, and 1 out in the 9th. This 1995 Division Series game is brought to you by Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. MetLife. Get Met. It pays. And the makers of Advil. Well, a month ago, the Cleveland Indians, of course, are getting ready to break loose and have a little celebration as we're in the 9th inning. A month ago, things looked pretty good for Boston. Not only for the Red Sox, but for Boston sports fans. Things were going well for the Red Sox, and there were high hopes for the Patriots here in Boston. But right now, the Patriots are 1-3 in the NFL season, and the Red Sox are all but ready to trade their bats for snow shovels. Yankees down by 3. There's the ties. They're in the 10th now in Atlanta. And you saw where the Reds have been all over the Dodgers tonight as they look to wrap it up. Eddie Murray looks at a ball. 2-1 now. There's another rope. That man has a lot of them. His second hit of the night to go along with 2 walks. They've only gotten him out in 1 of 5 plate appearances tonight.
It just quietly keeps going on and picking up base hits, key base hits. RBI, stays with that moving fastball away and just drills it into center field.
1 out and 1 on. And Alvaro Espinosa will bat for the first time. As you see, he hit .252 this year. Strike 1.
But another role player, a guy who can fill in at third base, can play shortstop, put him at second base. When you have role players that know that's their role, that's the key. Guys who aren't always trying to get in the lineup and play every day. They know they're helping the team when they're on the bench and they're coming in and filling in for the regular players.
Well, that's that team concept again. They just can't do it without the right guys. Espinosa giving the fans that remain another cheer as Canseco gets to make another play. So 2 out for Manny Ramirez.
Wayne Kirby,
rather, who took Ramirez's place in right field.
Getting a chance to swing the bat. You know, you look back at the move that Kevin Kennedy made to start the ball game with Canseco playing right field and Reggie Jefferson DHing to get some offense going. Canseco's had 4 putouts, but the offense just hasn't gotten on track.
Kirby appeared in the first 2 games, but does not have an at-bat as yet. This would be his first official at-bat if he does something recordable other than a walk or get plunked. Oral Hershiser, what a game he threw in game 2. A lot of talk and comparisons to his '88 postseason with the Dodgers. And there's a base hit past the diving Valentin into center field. Espinosa, or rather Murray, will stop at second as Kirby is aboard and gets his first hit and his first at bat.
Well, you were talking about the Patriots. Wayne Kirby's always attuned to the NFL. His brother Terry, a running back for the Dolphins. But how about Hershiser in 9 postseason ball games? He's 5-0 with a 1.52 ERA.
You see where the Mariners have defeated the Yankees to keep that series going.
See, Nagy knows where to sit. I'm going to get next to Hershiser. Some of it'll rub off. Dennis Martinez probably isn't far away. And they even have Kenny Hill, who was scheduled to pitch game 4 should it had gone that far.
That's not a bad quartet. There's El Presidente.
Hill picked up the win in that marathon. The first game of this series, came out of the bullpen, didn't even know he was going to have to be used that night.
Everybody was used that night. That ball gets by McFarland, and the runners will advance. Murray to third and Kirby to second.
Well, the Rockies just keep battling.
Man, they're out in front, 6-5, top of the 10th. They've picked up a run to break the tie again.
They're going to make the Braves earn it. Well, Roger was scheduled to pitch game 4. He said he would have been ready on 3 days rest. He'll get longer than 3 days.
Without an unbelievable bottom of the 9th, there won't be one. That was scored a wild pitch that allowed the runners to advance. Charge to Joe Hudson. Paul Sorrento taking outside for ball 2, 2-1. 2 out and 2 on here in the 9th. And the Indians have had a lot of base runners this evening. Many have come home. It's 8-2 Cleveland. Took a little off but missed. 3-1. And ball 4. That'll load the bases. Mo Vaughn, great year, but an uneventful 3 games in the postseason. Jose the same. What an addition he was to this ball club, but unable to get it going in this short series.
Well, a couple of guys who offensively absolutely carried Kevin Kennedy and his ball club. Mo Vaughn with 126 RBIs. Canseco came on strong after being injured early in the year.
A strike to Sandy Alomar, batting with the bases loaded and 2 out. Cleveland has had 18 base runners. Yeah, you know, you can't let this postseason take away what has been a great year for those guys and for the Red Sox. Naring throws out Sandy Alomar. The inning is over, and let's again go to John Saunders for an update.
Steve, Rockies and the Braves in extra innings. They walked Larry Walker to get to Andres Galarraga, and he makes them pay. A little seeing eye single here. Dante Bichette comes in. He had doubled, makes it a 6-5 lead for the Rockies. Then Vinny Castilla comes up, and he brings Larry Walker in, who had moved across on a wild pitch. 7-5. The Rockies trying to stay alive in the 10th inning right now. Back to Steve and Tommy.
Thank you, John. I'll tell you what. Don't count those Rockies out. They can hammer, can't they?
They can give you some offense with that middle of the lineup. 4 guys with 30 home runs or more. It's no light touch pitching to the Rockies. And I tell you what, it doesn't matter where they're playing either, road or at home.
But Atlanta's a great come from behind late inning team themselves. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Jack O'Hara. Coordinating producer of the Baseball Network, John J. Filippelli. Coordinating producer for ABC Sports, Kurt Gowdy Jr. Vice President of Operations for the Baseball Network, Ed Delaney. Our studio producers, Lance Garrett and Bill Graff. Our studio director, Rec Piva. Tonight's game was produced by Jay Cutlow, directed by Ray Tipton, our associate director Eric Posman, our technical director Jim Smart, and the assistant to the producer Eddie Caglianelli. Save that Gaglianelli for last.
You're getting a few shots at the reason the Cleveland Indians are going to be moving on to the championship series and taking on either the New York Yankees or the Seattle Mariners. We saw Carlos Baerga, Jim Thome, Albert Bell, Sorrento, Alomar. They just keep going and going with a lot of offense and a lot of solid play. And they've had some fun. You know, a lot of people have said, well, they really look loose. Are they really intense or trying? And Mike Hargrove has said when they get between those lines, they're intense about the ball game.
Yeah, I think the sign that they are loose is a good sign, because a lot of teams really hurt themselves when they get too uptight away from the game. And you know, you can press without being at home plate swinging a bat. Tony Pena into the game, catching now in the 9th inning, and Paul Ossenmacher on the mound to pitch the 9th for Cleveland. There's Tony. Our thanks also to Marty Aronoff for his work on our stats tonight.
You know, another reason too, you start looking at the entire picture and all the little pieces falling together. When you have a ball club like Cleveland's, you also have to have some veteran guys holding things together during the course of the year. Manager can only do so much, but when you have a Tony Pena around, or an Eddie Murray, or even for his small part Dave Winfield around, not eligible for postseason, it means something in the clubhouse and on the bench.
You got that right. Mesa heating up, but I think it would be doubtful that they would use him unless something unusual happened.
Well, he pitched in the first 2 games, so it's not as if he needs to go out there and throw an inning.
Mo Vaughn will get one more chance. Tonight, he is 0 for 3 plus a walk, 0 for 13 in the series. Canseco and Greenwell to follow, and it has been the top and middle of the order that has been the downfall for the Red Sox. And in some ways, that swing right there by Mo Vaughn indicative of the problems Boston has had offensively. Ossenmacher still awful tough on left-handed hitters. And Mo Vaughn swings at a pitch over his head just to put an exclamation point on what has gone on for the Red Sox in that regard.
Well, and he heads back. You can tell just by looking at the look. 0 for 14 in the series as Ossenmacher just gets him to chase a pitch way out of the zone. But look at the Boston fans. They're good fans, and they know what Mo Vaughn has meant to their ball club the entire season.
That's really good to see, because as I said before, you can't erase an entire season of effort that's bordering on MVP.
Hey, they know what he means to the community, too.
That's true. Well, the same could be said for Jose to a certain degree. 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 12. Jose has walked twice tonight. The fastball high and away.
So much emphasis is put on postseason. Boston fans, the only time this guy was in a World Series, the splendid splinter. Ted Williams hit 200 in the World Series, and 46 had just 5 singles.
Popped up, coming back our way, and well out of play. Pena gave it a look. 2 balls and 1 strike. 188 batting average overall, and 2 for 27 with runners in scoring position. One of those hits came tonight and did not score a run with runners in scoring position.
On a quick check, too, 3 for 53 so far, those first 4 hitters.
Wow. And only 1 hit tonight for those 4 hitters, the double by Valentin in the 3rd.
And that's even checking before I asked Marty.
I noticed Marty gave you a look there when you fired that off. Marty's going, are you sure about that? Well, I just, I have faith and confidence in you, pal. In fact, I actually at first thought you got it from Marty, so I knew it was right. Canseco hits it high in the air to very short right center field. Baerga's out there calling, and he's got it. 2 out. Jose ends up 0 for 13. He made some contact, including one very hard out tonight, but a tough series for Canseco as well, and the fans expressed their appreciation.
You know, Jose now has had over 100 at-bats in postseason, and his batting average below 200.
Wow.
It's pretty hard to figure, even though he has hit some home runs. Did that when he was with Oakland.
Mike Greenwell sends it out of play. Batting with 2 out and nobody on. Greenwell tonight 0 for 4. Greenwell another solid season.
What's a thrill right now for veteran left-hander Paul Assenmacher to be out there knowing that he's just 1 out away from a little celebration.
Yeah, there's something special about being on the mound when the celebration occurs.
Also something special for Cleveland fans. I know a lot of them, with the way the ball club played during the year, it's almost as if they expect it. And the Indians haven't let them down, I tell you what, in this series.
Well, they should be thrilled. This is a great ball club, the Cleveland Indians. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Greenwell. 2 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 9th. Get ready, Cleveland. Popped up, coming back out of play. It'll still be a ball and 2 strikes.
And of course, this year with the added round of playoffs, a little different. You know, you have to kind of pace yourself. You get through the first round. Now you have the league championship series to see who wins the American League. And then you get through that, you get yourself in the World Series.
Greenwell with a fly ball to left center field. Albert Bell in and calling for it. The guys are already coming out of the Cleveland dugout, and the Cleveland Indians will advance. They have now won 103, taking the first 3 in a row of this series to sweep the Red Sox and advance to the American League Championship Series. For the Red Sox, their postseason woes continue. Cleveland winning it 8-2. Charles Nagy the winner and Tim Wakefield the loser. We'll be back with some of the celebration. Stay with us. Park, a very subdued and quiet Fenway Park, and Tommy, really a very subdued celebration by the Indians, as you would expect, knowing that they've got more to go here in the postseason.
Well, that's right, and that all comes from a lot of veterans. You see Oral Hershiser, he knows what it's like. A veteran crew, they know that that's just the first rung of the ladder. There are a couple more they have to climb up to get to the World Series and to win the World Series.
And we have an opportunity to get a post-game interview, or maybe even more for you. Bob Stevens is with us down on the field. Let's go down and see who Bob can see. One of the stars of the game, that's for sure. JT.
JT, that's right, Steve. Jim Thome joins us. Tell us about the home run, 2nd inning.
You know, I've swung the bat pretty well against Wakefield. I tried to get a ball up in the zone, and you know.
It's better than a lot of things they could have thrown
in the first 2 games, you know, I struggled a little bit, and I think, you know, one thing about the playoffs is you get a big hit. If it means something to win the game, I think that's what you have to concentrate on, and that's what we've gotten in this series.
You'd only had 1 hit in the series. A very big hit, obviously, for you and the team.
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, it kind of got me back on track, and it kind of exploded and got us going there in the 1st inning or 2nd inning. And, you know, like I said all along, this is just another step to our focusedness and our accomplishment that we're trying to do, and it's been great.
Congratulations, Jim Thome. You're 1 step away from the World Series.
Thank you.
All right, Jim Thome joining us down by the Indians dugout. Let's go back up to Steve Zabriskie.
Thank you, Bob. Well, tonight's Chevrolet player of the game is, in fact, JT, Jim Thome, who had the 2-run home run, 3 RBIs, staked Cleveland to a 3-0 lead. And in conjunction with this program, Chevrolet will contribute a total of $50,000 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America in the names of all the players of the game for the 1995 Major League Baseball season. Once again, the final score, Cleveland sweeping it, winning the 3rd game 8-2 over Boston. We'll be back tomorrow night with more of Major League Baseball's playoff series. At least Seattle and New York are still going. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, right here on ABC. For Tommy Hutton and our entire crew, this is Steve Zabriskie saying so long and thanks for joining us tonight on ABC Sports.